happened here?
I don't know, but I will say that I would think that it would be difficult and kind of dangerous to try to put that jacket on the deer.
I would agree. I don't know that you can get the deer to stop close enough.
What's the name? Is the name of the restaurant Killin'?
I can't tell.
Oh, it's Western and Chinese cuisine.
Oh, my gosh. What a combo.
Looks like it's closed. I don't know if that concept made it long.
It does say open on the sign, though, Lance. I'm going to have to argue with you.
Yeah, it's not lit up.
I don't know how accurate the sign might be. Well, I don't know how we got this vest on a deer. That seems like drunk guys at the old hunt club, right?
Well, they were probably working at that deer crossing, and any construction zone workers got to have that on.
That's true. They told me the deer were going to cross right here.
And that is Trash Today, brought to you by.
Yeah, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200.
You know the most popular item at the Western and Chinese cuisine place, right?
Everybody buckle up. Here we go.
Chicken fried rice. Chicken fried rice.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think chicken fried
steak, chicken fried rice?
But if you were doing a spin on it, would chicken fried rice be good with queso on top?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, almost anything is. Yep, I'd take that.
Final thoughts here, brought to you by our friends at New York Butcher Shop as we get ready for this upcoming Thanksgiving weekend. After we go by on Wednesday, tomorrow, to pick up our turkeys, LT, we'll pick up sides as well. Makes a good dressing. If you forgot something, you got to throw something in the oven real quick. If you're going over to a friend's house, all the great sides there, too.
Got some dog treats. I've picked up bullet and chili where we can have steaks in piece and just break them off one of those dog sticks, let them gnaw at that. Jim can also cut up some of those bones out back.
Last week I got chicken salad and pimento cheese and some crackers and some spicy jelly.
I can't decide what's better, pimento cheese or chicken salad.
I didn't decide. I got both.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it.
And snacked on crackers during the games all last week.
Love both.
I'll never do it again because Alabama lost. But
it's done forever.
Yeah. Luckily, they have a wide variety of choices for me there this year.
Well, you've been cutting back on a lot of food groups this year because you got 3 losses out there. Turkey's fresh, all natural, hormone free from Joyce Farms, one of the best poultry producers in all of America. The turkeys, again, are fresh, but they can smoke or brine them. They also have the smoked hams, certified Angus prime beef tenderloin, rib roast, all of their side dishes prepared in-house. Don't forget desserts like pies, cakes, banana breads, great wine selection to pair with your turkey or beef tender roast. They're taking reservations now. Stop into one of those 2 locations. Original Caba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. Rare quality, well-done service, the New York Butcher Shop.
Okay, save me all this in 60 seconds real quick. Kyle Whittingham says Kyle Whittingham, Utah head coach, says he's going to evaluate his leadership of the program after the season. That sounds like coach speak for me, that he's stepping down when the season.
Yeah, keep in mind, Morgan Scalley has been tabbed. He's
and I thought this was going to be his last year. I just hate how it went down because Whittingham has been so good. And in year 1 of the Big 12, it has been so bad. And a lot of that is, you saw it, he was down to his 5th-string quarterback last weekend.
Tomorrow we're at Academy Sports. We'll talk to Bruce Feldman, hopefully, about his story on Brian Kelly. Really interesting read at The Athletic on how disconnected he is at LSU. Brock Vandergriff is out as the starter quarterback for Kentucky going into their final game. Cutter Boley, who played well in relief against Texas, comes in as the starter. And Georgia Tech has hired J.J. Kosh from the Chicago Bears front office. He's going to Georgia Tech. Well, he'll be the guy in charge of revenue sharing between the program and the players moving to the future. So he basically is a salary cap guy from the Chicago Bears. That's very interesting. Basketball tonight, 2 huge games. Auburn off their second top 5 win last night against North Carolina this evening. That's 10 o'clock on ESPN. Auburn's a 4.5-point favorite. What does Auburn do that's going to be hard for North Carolina to stop? Why can Auburn win this game? Why should Auburn win this game?
Well, I mean, Auburn, when they're hitting their perimeter shots, and I think Auburn also believing, down 16 to one of the best teams in college basketball, being able to come back. And I think not the most talented, but I think the ready-made, ready-to-take game-over player on the floor, Johni Broome. Carolina's got a lot of these McDonald's All-Americans. I think they've got 3 guys that are projected first-round guys this year.
But I think what you saw last night, too, though, is not only does Auburn have an extremely talented roster, they've got an experienced roster. It's going to be hard to break them mentally, right? I think a lot of teams would not have come back from 18 down.
That's right.
16 down at the half, but that's a team that has seen a lot and has played through a lot.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show now on the day before Thanksgiving as we get rolling towards a big Iron Bowl weekend coming up. We'll get to the college football playoff rankings, reaction to that, and then a big night in basketball, which we will start with. But first, Brownie, set the table on where we are at this new beautiful location just down the road from our studio.
That's right. It is Academy Sports and Outdoors. Great place to come for all your Christmas shopping. It is the brand new location on Highway 280 of Academy Sports and Outdoors. The old Best Buy, Lance said he used to get DVDs in here, and I was like, why were you buying DVDs at Academy? And then I realized, he meant when it was a Best Buy back in the day.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Way back in the day. Old Target Shopping Center behind Chick-fil-A, just off Highway 280. A lot going on here today. Number one, just to our right, you can register for tickets to Saturday's game right here in person. All you got to do is come by and register. We'll do the drawing on Friday.
Did Taylor get her a new bag?
That is the registration box. I don't know if Taylor's taking it with her. Right in front of, or right down here to the right is a QR code that we've got on the screen. If you can't make it, scan the QR code and you can register on our website, nextroundlive.com. But you come by and do a little Christmas shopping at Academy. They've even got a Academy credit card here. With approved credit, you get the card. First $15 is free. So you come in here and spend $15, free purchase for you, and then 5% off your second purchase. So you can register for that with approved credit. Academy Sports and Outdoors, Highway 280.
All right, so that's where we are. We'll be here all day. Taylor's handling the registration, so when you come by, be courteous, though. She's doing both the social media and then helping you register right there on location. We'll do the drawing, as Brownie says, coming up again on Friday. We'll start with basketball because we'll get lost in the weeds on football for most of the show. But last night in basketball, the latest of the games, the most recent thing we saw was maybe the number one team in the country in Auburn, dominating North Carolina. They never trailed in the contest, 85-72. They turn around today and play at 4 o'clock Central Time on ESPN against Memphis, a surprise matchup. It's not UConn that Auburn's going to end up playing for the championship because they've lost 2 in a row. It is Memphis today, and there's a lot to unpack here, but the Iowa State game was a great game. Auburn took North Carolina to the woodshed last night.
Well, I think that 12-2 run that opened the second half was the difference. I'm not going to pretend that I watched this game. Our friend from Greg from Pell City texted me after the Alabama game, and he was like, that was a March game in November. And I was like, I agree. I was like, I don't know about you, but there ain't a chance in hell I'm going to be able to make this Auburn North Carolina game.
It was a blowout from the beginning, but it got to within 3 points, and then it was a 7-2 run to end, and then the big run to start the second half, and that's where Auburn put it away. It was much like we talk about football, the middle eight. North Carolina fought back in it. They just don't have the horses that Auburn has in both the games. We'll get to Alabama in a second, but both the games, the depth and the ability to play defense and swarm the way they do. Auburn, I'm not joking when I say Johni Broome right now playing like an All-American that he is, and this team's good enough to do what I thought they could do last year.
You know, we saw flashes last year, and then he continued to get better and better, or I should say we saw flashes 2 years ago. I don't think anybody realized, and I know we'll get to Alabama in a little bit, but both Mark Sears and Johni Broome, transferring into these programs, and they have become elite college basketball players. And we'll see what their future holds after these years or this final year. But, Broome just completely dominated the boards last night. 19 rebounds. Not only that, involved in everything. 5 assists, had the 3 blocks. Best player on the court. R.J. Davis is, a preseason All-American. Didn't have a great game last night for Carolina. I don't even think it would have mattered. I think Broome was that good last night.
As you watch the game, though, Brownie, one thing that was, their best player, North Carolina, was R.J. Davis. And the way Bruce and Steven were able to – he only shot the ball 11 times. Their best player, the guy they want shooting the ball, they prevented him from shooting the ball. He only had 11 shots, 12 points, season low.
Yeah, great defense. And I said it yesterday after the Iowa State game, and it's only more accurate today. I think if you did a rolling number one in the nation, like Ken Pom does, Ken Pom had a weird reaction to yesterday's game. The stats have corrected themselves, or a weird reaction to Monday's game. The stats have corrected themselves after last night. Auburn's number one in Ken Pom.
if you did a rolling number one, there is zero doubt in my mind Auburn would be number one in the country. I mean, Kansas is good.
I was going to say, I don't know.
Based on what they've accomplished, having beaten Houston, Iowa State, and North Carolina, that's going to be hard to look past.
Kansas does have a couple of big-time wins, including last night over Duke, where, Hunter Dickerson, I know we'll probably get into that at some point.
Go ahead. Let's get into it, man.
Well, I mean, a kick to the head. It was very Duke-like. It was very Grayson Allen-like, the old trips back in the day. Loose ball on the floor. I think he was frustrated and should have been thrown out of the game. You guys agree, right?
I thought he should have been ejected. Yeah. At least a flagrant one. If you wanted to go just one flagrant, that'd been fine. But flagrant two to send him out was okay with that. In that game, the LT is talking about Hunter Dickerson ejected with about 10 minutes and change going. Still a Kansas win, 75-72 in that made-for-TV game in Las Vegas. Back to Auburn, if we can. They get Memphis today, a team we saw as we did the broadcast up in Huntsville. And Alabama beat them in that exhibition game where there were no fouls. You couldn't foul out of the game. There were a lot of fouls. You just couldn't foul out of the game. Memphis now has beaten UConn, and now they advance on to play Auburn. And we even said when we watched that team, we were like, God, I know Memphis isn't ranked, and UAB, they're in the same league, and UAB got them last year as far as representing, winning the conference tournament. This Memphis team looks like they could be pretty good. Well, here they are. They're unbeaten. They're 6-0. They've beaten UConn. They've got quality wins now, and now they're about to play Auburn today. This will be a war between some big men in the paint.
Well, and P.J. Haggerty, the transfer for Memphis, was the guy that we talked about in that game. That was where the offense was supposed to go through, and he hasn't disappointed. He's averaging over 21 points per game. They've yet to lose a game, and they've had a difficult schedule.
Yeah, they have. And I saw – I think it was Jeff Goodman asked the question, Memphis' last two wins, what's more surprising that they've won the game or that Penny Hardaway has beaten those two coaches?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a shot at Penny Hardaway by Jeff Goodman, but
does it blow you guys away through 6 games? Memphis is shooting as a team 49% from the field and 45% behind the arc.
It does blow me away having seen them in a preseason.
That team didn't look like they could shoot at all. We knew they had great athletes. They had length. They had everything. But, and back to Dunaway's point, hey, if these guys can never learn to shoot it, and they've been shooting it.
Couldn't throw it in the Tennessee River the night we saw them, though, could they?
Yeah, it was a rough shooting night, but I think the physicality of that game made it rough in Huntsville, and it's what made Houston and Alabama a fun watch, hard to watch if you're a basketball offensive flow of game purist. Ooh. One more thing on Auburn. So many people that are doing well. Todd Pettiford, man. Little T probably could talk better about this, but he really seems to only show up for the big games right now. He is a stud. He had 10 last night. Chaney Johnson, who Little T, I think, tabbed before the season started as maybe one of the most valuable players to watch this year. Again, he turns in an 11-8 performance to help out on the boards and everything. Denver running the point at 10. Miles Kelly with 15. But when you watch Auburn and you get away from the skill set of Johni Broome, who was good inside, mid-range, and outside, the chaos is always brought by Chad Baker-Mazara. He's the guy that, he's sort of like the electricity and the current that's going to make Auburn go. If it's an electric vehicle, he is the charging station for Auburn. He's the one that's going to keep them moving down the road.
Look, I know the ultimate Robin analogy is Scottie Pippen, but he plays a little like Pippen. I mean, he can do absolutely everything. He's a great defender.
Yeah.
He can shoot the three. He's got good handle. I mean, there's really not a weakness in this guy's game.
And he gets in their head. He gets in the opponent's head, the way he plays defense, the swagger that he adds. He can get inside the head. Auburn today, if they win, becomes this Maui Classic almost 50 years. They've been doing this. If Auburn wins today, they become only the third team. I mentioned this on yesterday's show. The third team in SEC history to win the Maui Classic. The other two was Vandy in 1986 and Kentucky with Rick Pitino in 1993. No other SEC team's ever gone to the islands in November and walked away with the Maui Classic championship. And they get to do it against Memphis and not UConn today. UConn losing again yesterday, this time to Colorado. No Deion Sanders, Colorado. The basketball version, 73-72. So that's Auburn in the Maui Classic.
If Memphis was to win this game, where are they in the polls? Like they'll
be ranked now regardless.
Oh, yeah, I know that. But I'm just saying if they were to beat Auburn.
I mean, you've got to put them in the top 10.
Yeah, where are they in the
wins.
KenPom? That's all that matters, Brown. It's the KenPom. The AP voters will have them. We'll have them in there for sure. While you're pulling them up, Brown, let's tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. We'll get to Alabama's big win. Show's brought to you by Hemp Hill. They bring you the lock every day. The lock, lanceslock.com. Tell us about Hemp Hill.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Adam, Chad, and Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Also, our friends at the Pants Store, your game day headquarters, but also a great place for Santa to go by and pick up some great stuff. The Pants Store, Birmingham, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, Auburn, and Leeds locations, your game day headquarters for Bama, Auburn, and all the great polos, hats, quarter zips, and, of course, the sweatshirts there. Gentile, Antigua, Cutter and Buck, and Horn Legend are some of the name brands you get there at the Pants Store. Those great locations and online at pantstore.com. The free gift wrapping, the free alteration, the New Balance and the Hoka footwear, you name it, they've got it for the teenager, college person, or just the fan in your life. Your game day headquarters, Pants Store, pantstore.com. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pants Store. Brownie, what did you find on Memphis in the
They
Gen
are
Pom?
27th in the Gen Pom, Lance. I mean, they look better than 27 to me. I don't know about you, but the Gen Poms were like Houston's third, and they're 3-2. So the Gen Pom is not necessarily looking at record. It's looking at a lot of things. The AP is going to look at record and quality of wins, and it's hard to get better quality of wins, and it's impossible to get a better record. So
yeah.
I imagine they're top 10.
Yeah, if they go 7, I would agree. Yeah, top 10 is probably right.
So last night, Tyler, if I can get cut number 10, here's Bruce Pearl, wee hours of the morning. Little T, what time did that game end? We were
one little
in the
T
morning,
says, but
Central
she
Time.
says with a question mark at the end of the sentence.
It was well after midnight. I made some Kansas fans mad on Twitter when I tweeted out that best two teams in college basketball are in the same state.
What'd they say to you?
Kansas fans were like, Kansas State's not that good.
That's actually a pretty good comeback.
And I was like, whoa, I'm talking about sweet home Alabama. Here's Bruce Pearl talking about his big stud last night, Johni Broome. Tyler, cut 10. This is Bruce Pearl.
I think you got to remember where Johni Broome came from, and that just doesn't get talked enough about. He's a 3-star out of Tampa Catholic. He's not fast enough. He's not quick enough. He's not good enough. He doesn't make the top AAU teams in Florida. He's a low major, mid-major kid, and all he's ever done his entire career is prove people wrong. Not an NBA player because you're not an NBA athlete. All he does is score, and all he does is defend, and all he does is win. He's an old school player that has developed always an inside game, and he's developed a perimeter game. He's an outstanding passer. He's an outstanding ball handler. He can put the ball down the floor to make plays. I trust him with the ball in his hands in the post, and obviously just a dominant rebounder.
That's Bruce Pearl last night on the Auburn win. So 4:00 today for them. For Alabama, they're back at it tonight, 9:00 as they take on Rutgers. Alabama beat Houston 85-80 in overtime. In that contest, when you watch it, truthfully, I wish Alabama's football team had been that physical in Norman as they were against Houston last night in Vegas.
Well, I think Kelvin Sampson. I mean, he forces other teams to either be physical or get run out of the gym. Alabama was physical last night. It was a tough watch. 74 free throws. And you talked about, you have no tempo, no pacing when you have that many free throws. But Alabama was able to grind it out. I thought Sears' slow start ends up with an Alabama high 24 points in 41 minutes. So he made those key baskets down the stretch. He still looks a little bit off. Made up for it, hitting, shots behind the three, was 12 of 14, from the free throw line. But I don't know about you guys. He just looked a little off.
It was a slow start.
Yeah.
And a lot of his game is going into the paint and drawing contact and either getting the finish in a three-point play or getting to the stripe.
Which he did a good job last night.
He did a good job of that last night. But then late in the game, it was like the officials were already at the blackjack table. They were done calling fouls. That last Houston possession.
Yeah.
I mean, it was no blood, no foul, my friend.
Grant Hill had a great call. He was like, this is like a Bruce Lee film. Their bodies down everywhere.
And there were. And then all of a sudden, Mo Diabate is laying on the baseline.
Bruce Lee coming up in 4 downs. Amazing.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is a weird coincidence.
And had nothing to do with Grant saying that.
Yeah, that was a weird coincidence because I didn't even hear Grant say that. I mean, I had the volume up, but it didn't stick with me. But anyway, I mean, then you got Mo Diabate, who had an amazing game, just laying on the floor. I mean, there are bodies everywhere, and all of a sudden, Alabama's got the ball with a chance to close it out.
Well, Diabate, almost one of the top 5 shots in Alabama basketball history. Would that be fair?
I don't know.
Oh, that would have been unbelievable.
I mean,
it would have been unbelievable.
Would have been a walk-off.
Top 5.
It was spot on. Which was closer, the Butler shot to win the national championship or Diabate?
Really?
Yeah.
Butler hit back rim. So it's at least got enough.
Well, I thought Hayward's hit backboard, hit front rim, and then kind of hit back. I mean,
maybe
it was. I mean, it was close. I mean, when the back shot on the replay, I mean, it looked like when it left his hand, it was in.
Yeah, when it left his hand in real time, I didn't think it had enough to get there.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And then it hit the front of the rim. I was like, holy crap, that thing almost went.
This is why you don't assume anything. You just assumed when Alabama improved their roster and brought in guys like Amori that Mo Diabate's minutes would be limited.
Nope.
He has become a major part of the defense. 10.16 rebounds last night. A lot of those offensive. Alabama almost got 50% of their missed shots on offensive rebounds. They would go back and get their rebound on their missed shots. It was an amazing number last night. Grant Nelson continues to be good defensively, 13 and 10 from him. LJ Cryer had 30 points. They just ran out of gas. They didn't have as many bodies to throw at them. And if you look at depth, we talk about depth for Auburn, depth for Alabama. Auburn had more players than North Carolina. Alabama had more players. They were able to last long. When they got it to overtime, I was like, they've already got 2 of their guys fouled out.
Yep.
2 of their top 3 guys fouled out. Alabama's going to win this in overtime easy, and they did.
Typical Kelvin Sampson, though. He's a 7 or 8 guy. He doesn't play a huge rotation. And Cryer's one of these guys, a Baylor transfer, who played a game-high 42 minutes. He just missed a lot of shots. I mean, he missed 17 shots from the field last night. Was 2 of 8 behind the arc. He's a really good player, but just didn't have a great game. And when you look at the box score, 30 points, that really jumps out. You know the crazy thing, if you go through both the Alabama-Houston game and the Auburn-North Carolina game, both teams shot the same percentage. I've never seen that. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
So look at this. Alabama and Houston both shot 36.7 to 36.9, but I think both North Carolina and
Auburn shot the same?
I'm talking the exact same percentage. Right here, just to show you guys. 43.5 to 43.5.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, in 2 games like that. Darion Reed, people are saying in the mybookie.ag chat room, the move of the game was to have Reed on Cryer at the end and in overtime. The minutes that guy gets as a true freshman on that talented of a roster is crazy.
Well, and to play a guard like that with that kind of experience in Cryer.
They put the bigger body on him, and it came right after Grant Hill had made a point like Kelvin Sampson's big some of his passes in the NBA.
Yeah.
And they found a play that was working on the defense for Alabama, and they just did it. They ran it every time. And Cryer was getting sort of that mid-range jumper right at the elbow of the free throw line. And then Grant Hill said, now Nate Oates has adjusted, and he put the bigger body on Cryer. And now they have to go to their next punch. Show being brought to you by Johnson RV. Before we get to that, though, let's listen to Mo Diabate. Cut number 9 last night on Alabama's big win. Alabama's played 3 straight against the top 25. They lose on Purdue's floor. They beat Illinois here in Birmingham, and now they go last night and beat Houston. So Houston's 2 losses are now to the 2 teams in our state. Take that, state of Kansas. Here is Mo Diabate.
Even if it was like any other team that we played, I would have brought the same intensity in the game. I know what I do good on the court. So, Coach told me before the game, this is a Mo Diabate game. So, I was prepared for it. Either if you played any other team, I was going to bring the same intensity. So, and, I brought it tonight and we got the win.
Mo Diabate night there for his game. LeBaron Philon, who's been so big in the first one, that game didn't sort of come to him. He had lesser minutes. It'll be interesting as they manage the roster. Football is next in this segment. We'll also talk to Bruce Feldman coming up at 9:30 Central Time in the next segment. The show being brought to you by our friends at Johnson RV Center.
I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center. And you can find great deals there on great RVs and fifth wheels and travel trailers to go see America this fall. $149. That's where they start in the travel trailer world right there at Johnston RV Center. $45,000 of savings and more on the fifth wheels. RV warranty forever. Make sure you got a lifetime warranty on anything that is new or qualifying pre-owned at Johnston RV. You can see them in person. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online at johnstonrvcenter.com.
Again, those times for basketball, again, 4 o'clock ESPN for Auburn and Memphis and Maui, 9 o'clock in Vegas for Bama and Rutgers. Back on TBS, I believe.
That was why one of your friends said it had an NCAA tournament feel, or Greg said that.
Because of TBS.
I do think that was part of it. Is Brian Anderson's really good at what he does, by the way, the play-by-play guy. And you had him and Grant Hill, and you're playing in some random gym somewhere. It did kind of have an NCAA tournament feel without much of a crowd.
Our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama bringing you the show as well. 35 urologists, 16 locations, treating all your urological needs, from prostate health to kidney stones. Let them take care of you. Vasectomies and anything else, guys, to stay on top of your health. When you go from your 20s to your 30s, that's when you need to start staying on top of everything that goes on in your life, especially physically, right? And they'll help you do that. Set a baseline, and then you're checked in your 40s and 50s and 60s, so you get early detection. Find a location near you. Call the number on your screen or go to urologycentersalabama.com to schedule an appointment, or urologycentersalabama.com. All right, there's 18 things we're going to break down about college football, and we'll talk to Bruce about it in the next segment as well. But just give me first your initial thought on the rankings last night, Brown, when they came out.
The thing I looked most at was the teams that are just outside the ranking, because I tell you what the selection committee did. They gave us a little better rivalry weekend. That was my takeaway. Clemson, South Carolina, all of a sudden is a pretty important game.
Yeah.
I mean, Clemson is poised to jump in this thing, because I don't know about you guys, I don't feel like the ACC runner-up remains in this. If it's SMU or Miami, do you guys feel that they do?
I think if both win this weekend, and they have a tight game in the ACC championship, I think both are in.
The ACC runner-up?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
You think they're in?
I think if SMU and Miami both win, I think they're in, yes.
So all they got to do is make the conference championship game, and they're both in this playoff.
Yeah,
I think so, unless there's a blowout in the ACC championship game.
We can talk, slim hope Alabama all you want. I still think they're out. But I think the best path for them to get there would be Syracuse beating Miami, Clemson beating South Carolina, and then SMU beating Clemson. I think that would be their best scenario.
So what I was going to ask you guys, because it's kind of my takeaway, if one of those teams falls out, or if let's just say there's an upset, okay? There's an upset, so we got an open spot in there. If Clemson beat South Carolina, you think Clemson auto in? I mean, that's enough to get them in, right? They're next man up.
Not if Miami and South Carolina, Miami and SMU both win.
Yeah, they're not going to.
So Clemson will stay 12, and somebody will jump them. You think?
I think. Am I incorrect here? Miami is 6 and SMU is 9.
Yeah, but somebody's fallen out with an upset. That's what I said. If there's an upset this weekend,
if either Cal or Syracuse,
it doesn't matter. I mean, if it's USC, Notre Dame, that's all I'm saying.
Anybody in front.
Okay. Notre Dame's in.
Yeah, I don't think Notre Dame could fall out of this thing.
Top 5 all in. Notre Dame is in. Georgia, if they beat Georgia Tech, is in.
So regardless where the upset is, if somebody falls out this week, do you think Clemson is automatically in if they beat South Carolina?
No.
That was my question.
No.
You don't think so? Who could beat them? I mean, who would jump them? Alabama?
Alabama could.
Wow.
Yeah, but see, maybe I'm confused, but like Clemson is 12, right?
Yep.
Big 12 is going to get in there.
Yep. So that's why Clemson's out.
Somebody's got to fall out.
Wait, right. You say the Big 12 is going to get in there. That was my biggest takeaway.
Well, it could be Tulane.
Yeah. Like the Big 12 has got some serious issues if it's not Arizona State, Iowa State, or BYU.
Yeah, especially if Arizona beats Arizona State in the rivalry game, because it's in Tucson.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. That's a game we talked about on Unlock, because Brock's going to be at the Territorial Cup. I don't think Colorado, even with the star power now, with Prime behind them.
Well, they're 25th, man.
Yeah, if them or Kansas State, which both have an opportunity to win the Big 12, if either one of those wins the Big 12, I don't think they can jump too late.
Yeah, because if that's 24 and 25 right now. So if you go beat the number 24 team in the country and you're number 25, you know what you just told me? You should have been 24, maybe 23, maybe 20. You don't jump all the way up into the team.
And I could tell with how passionate Brett Yormark was that he's worried about this.
Yep.
Just because of the way the Big 12's played out, it's not going to be predictable. Like, obviously, if Arizona State or Iowa State or BYU wins out, they're going to get in. BYU at 19 can easily jump Tulane, and they can justify that. But if it's one of those back teams in Kansas State or Colorado, they got a serious issue, and I think our man John Summerall and Boise State and Emily Grace's ridiculous preseason prediction, they're all going to come to fruition.
Yeah.
A lot more on that with our buddy Bruce Feldman, and we'll talk to Bruce also about the article he wrote on Brian Kelly and why maybe that's not working down in Baton Rouge, a place Bruce is familiar with, very familiar with BK as well. That is coming up. One more thing in this segment after we tell you about our friends at Slice. They'll bring us 4 downs later, but we also want to tell you about the great pizza. Before you do that, can I just do a shout out to my mom real quick? Mom is Dad's having a procedure on his heart this morning, and Mom's in the waiting room. Got the earbuds in. She wanted us in the conversation down there. So Dad's going to be back in surgery for about 2 or 3 hours. And so Mom's listening in. So big shout out to Lula Gale. The old Lula. You don't get many Lulas. The old Lula gal there.
Love the name.
So she's got the earbuds in. She's listening this morning. So
all the best to your dad, though, man. I know everybody be praying for him.
They ought to pipe this through the hospital.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just tell him play it in the OR.
Well, he doesn't want to listen because he's the reason he's having the heart surgery today is because of the way Alabama played the other
I believe it.
Yeah. So tell us about our friends there at Slice.
They had they dropped by yesterday. I know we had the super cheese.
Yep.
We had a Bajalia special.
Correct.
We had, is it This Little Piggy? I think it was This Little Piggy.
Yeah.
Anyway, the guys from Slice, Jason Bajalia, the brother of the late Jeff Bajalia, came by. They've got a new president up there. We got to sit down with these guys, and they brought us a ton of food, some of those wings, which are fantastic. But stop into one of those 5 locations today, the original in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Get out, see the Bajalia brothers. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, SliceBirmingham.com.
And our friends at New Life, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. That's where you get all the great Alabama prints. And if you're looking out this Black Friday shopping weekend, the 2025 calendar with all the great Alabama moments for this upcoming year is out. Use the coupon code TNR, gets 20% off there. TNR gets you 20% off with our friends at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. The Legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban, is the latest work from Daniel A. Moore. 6 national championships in Tuscaloosa. Daniel A. Moore pays tribute in The Legend. You can pick that up and a lot more online at DanielMooreArt.com. When we come back, we will talk to Bruce Feldman. More college football as we react to the college football rankings and get ready for rivalry weekend live from Academy Sports. More on Academy's big Christmas special this weekend when we come back on TNR.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at scottforestertv.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239 Equal Housing Lender.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
You can't wait for college football talk every Monday, so we don't make you wait. Ryan Brown here for the next round. You can catch ESPN's Tom Luganbill with Jim Dunaway on Monday Morning Live at 7 a.m. I'm with Brandon Marcello on the middle 8 at 8 after the next round. Hear from Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer and Auburn coach Hugh Freeze. After the coaches talk, Fox Sports analyst Brock Huard joins Lance Taylor for Unlocked at 1 o'clock. All college football, all day Monday, anywhere you get the next round.
Back with you at Academy Sports off Highway 280. Before we get to Bruce Feldman, tell us about Academy, Browning.
Academy Sports and Outdoors, brand new location right here on Highway 280 in the old Best Buy. It is in the Target Shopping Center. Just off 280, you can come by and register for tickets to the game Saturday in person. Also scan that QR code if you can't make it by and register online. We got that on the screen for you. And you can enjoy some great deals at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Speaking of that game, mybookie.ag right now, 11.5. Alabama still favored 11.5 at mybookie.ag. Code next round gets you 300% in that casino. A 300% deposit bonus in the casino with code next round at mybookie.ag. Rivalry Saturday starts, rivalry weekend starts tomorrow night. Let's talk some about it with Bruce Feldman, one of our favorites to have on. You can see Bruce on Fox The Athletic. Welcome in, Bruce. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, guys. Good to be on with you.
I know you've got some family time, and you're up in Michigan and Ohio. Let me just ask you this, because if I'm not mistaken, you spent some time in Ann Arbor yesterday. What is the general feel around there going to the game? I know it's just year one, but this is not going what they really wanted it to.
Yeah, I think, Ryan, a lot of frustration has been, I think people expected to take a step back because they lost so much talent on both sides of the ball, especially offense. But I think it's been much worse than anybody thought. But they did get a jolt of some good news and good vibes when Bryce Underwood, the 5-star, number one recruit in the country, decommitted from LSU last week and committed to Michigan. And he grew up a Michigan fan. I think that was the kind of news that made them feel at least a lot better about this year. and going forward. Now, I think there's probably going to be some staff changes that are going to be coming with that, but at least there's optimism because the offense was so bad. The quarterback play was so bad. At least they can sell some hope on that. And look, they may lose by 40 this weekend in Columbus because I'm sure Ryan Day is going to try to put it on them, and that'll probably have a lot of folks wincing. But I think they're looking at it going, hey, we just won a national title. We dominated them 3 years in a row. Let's catch our breath, and hopefully Bryce Underwood can lead to a dawn of another big run for Michigan. But that's in the future, and right now the present doesn't look so good.
You know, Bruce was such $20, $30 million roster, whatever you want to call it. The pressure was on. It was national championship or bust. Even guys like Will Howard said it before the season. It is going to be something for Ohio State to beat Michigan for the first time since November of 2019. But is it still national championship or bust? If they win, rematching again, get it by, they per national champion. But where are Ohio's fans, right?
I think that's what it still is. I think they feel like this is their year. I mean, as you said, the payroll, as the AD Ross Bjork had announced, was basically $20 million. And this is not a strong, it's not like there's any superpower programs out there. We've seen the SEC's pretty, banging each other around. There's nobody who looks like they're elite on both sides of the ball. Now, they did lose at Oregon by, in a close game on the road. I think they would love the rematch in the Big Ten title game and potentially a third game in the playoff. I mean, I feel like they exercised some demons against Penn State, but that was Penn State who finds a way to stub their toe in big games, and I'm sure there'll be some. I'd be stunned if Michigan would win this game this time around, but going forward, I think if they go to the playoff and they lose in the title game, it's not like people are going to try to get Ryan Day fired. But I think there is a definite vibe here. This is the year we must win the national title because everything is set up for us to do it. And if we don't, we did something wrong. Now, obviously, they're banged up on the offensive line. They've had to rotate a bunch of guys. But, it's late November. A lot of teams have a lot of injuries in a lot of places.
Bruce Feldman is with us here as we're live at Academy Sports. Bruce, I wanted to go back to before the season started, our bowl prediction show. We have a co-worker, Emily Grace McWhorter, whose bowl prediction was 2 group of 5 teams in the 12-team playoff. It's close. We laughed on the show, but it's close. It's possible. Do you think the powers that be that run college football would allow 2 group of 5s in the?
I don't. I like the prediction, but I don't just because I think as you said, the powers that be, I'd be shocked if there's only 3 SEC teams. Now you still have, you need a bunch of stuff to happen, starting with USC would need to knock off Notre Dame this weekend and get them to 2 losses. And I think you need a little more chaos going on. I don't know if it would come as much as Purdue has to beat Indiana, but there's a list of things. You probably need 3 of them to happen. But, could if Tulane wins and, Boise State, I think people have some, respect for them. Obviously, Ashton Jeanty's had a Heisman caliber year, but I don't know if 11-2 Tulane would be a good enough sell. I mean, they're sitting there at 17. I just think they need a bunch of upsets, not just a few. And it's possible. I mean, we've seen a lot of crazy stuff happen just last week, but I think it's remote that the powers that be would let that happen unless they're almost forced to make that decision.
Bruce has done some writing about the LSU situation, and Brian Kelly, Bruce Feldman with us. How would you summarize this situation, Bruce, right now with another disappointing season coming to a close down in Baton Rouge?
Honestly, I would describe it as not shocking. I mean, the question a lot of us had when Brian Kelly's a really good coach. He won a lot of games at Notre Dame, and then he went there, and you're like, ooh, this is an interesting fit. Not because, he's not from the Deep South. I mean, there's plenty of guys who've come in there who are not from the Deep South, but they either couldn't really connect with players or just weren't wired for it recruiting-wise. I think there's a bunch of stuff. And so Ralph Russo and I did this deep dive where we talked to a lot of folks, some on the record, some off the record, about why this has been such a bad fit, and he struggled with staffing, before it was the defense because they tried to make such a clean break from the past regime, and maybe they made some bad hires that also hurt them in recruiting. And the big thing that, I come back to, and Charles Turner, who was the starting center the last 2 years, had told me, he barely had any relationship with Brian Kelly. He was like, it would be just the only thing he ever said to me was like, hi, how are you? And that was it. He goes, you have to make an appointment to go see him, just to be in his office, which is unusual for a college coach. And that disconnect, I think, hurts him. You see it in games. Like, Brian Kelly's not the first coach, to get red-faced and yell at one of his players in the heat of a game. But you don't see it where he does that, and then all of a sudden, not long after that, one of his players comes off the sideline, the team's, best receiver, and lights Brian Kelly up. I think that speaks to some of the challenges that he's dealing with. And I think going in, the question I have for a lot of people is like, what is his success going to mean for him there? He left Notre Dame specifically talking about because he couldn't win a national title there and he thought he could here. And why didn't he think that? Because the previous three coaches, Nick Saban, Les Miles, Ed Ogeron, the one thing those three guys have in common is they all won national titles. And they all did it in the first 4 years. Brian Kelly's going into year 4. As we mentioned before, he lost Bryce Underwood, the biggest recruit in the country. That was the big reason of hope that they had. Lose a bunch of offensive linemen from this team. You're headed to at best 8-4. I think it's wishful thinking to expect, he's going to be getting them a national title anytime soon. It just does not seem to be a very good fit that they threw a lot of money at. And now they're kind of in a similar situation that Texas A&M had with Jimbo Fisher, where it was like, you're going to have a massive buyout for a guy who doesn't look like he's able to get it done.
You referenced how wild this season has been, Bruce, and I don't think anybody would be shocked if Notre Dame, ironically, won a national championship. With that said, the guy that Brian Kelly is really compared closely to is Lincoln Riley, because they're both in year 3. They both left really good programs to go to really good programs, and they both have a conference championship game appearance and a Heisman Trophy to show for it, but the results just haven't been there. If I asked you ultimately who lasts longer, Lincoln Riley at USC or Brian Kelly at LSU?
My guess is Lincoln Riley would last longer, just because the other thing those guys have in common is they have huge deals that the schools got stuck for, meaning like it's heavily tilted towards the coach's side. And the reason why I, think of beyond that is, like I said, the last 3 coaches all won national titles at LSU. Before Lincoln got there, it was a bunch of, frustration, whether it was, Sark bombed out of there, because of a lot of reasons beyond just what was on the field. Lane Kiffin, they fired him on the tarmac, and Clay Helton had some good moments, but ultimately couldn't get them beyond that. But I don't think the money people at USC are going to be as disgusted by mediocrity or being average as they are going to be in Baton Rouge. And I just don't think, Lincoln's probably not going to be out of USC unless he decides, I'm going to take a break from coaching or do whatever, because I just don't see, how that remedies itself, because I don't think he's getting them to be a national title contender the way he's working it right now. And I don't think Brian Kelly is either, but I just think that the level of disgust at not being able to compete with the top of the SEC and compete for a national title will be enough motivation that you'll see something similar to what happened in College Station a year ago with Jimbo Fisher at some point, not too far down the road in Baton Rouge. Maybe it's a year from now, but I just can't imagine they're going to be fine with, we're not a playoff. There's a 12-team playoff and we're not part of it again. We'll still pay this guy a fortune and ride it out. I just don't see that with a guy who's in his mid-60s.
Bears watching, obviously, in Baton Rouge. Always interesting there. There's no doubt. Bruce, have a great Thanksgiving with the family. We greatly appreciate the time. Always good catching up.
My pleasure. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
All right, you too, buddy. Bruce Feldman with us from Fox Sports and The Athletic with his reporting. You can read it there at The Athletic. Some team reporting there on the Brian Kelly situation at Baton Rouge, described as detached And patience running thin down the bayou on Brian Kelly. You're three.
If you knew their resumes and you really lined up Orgeron, Les Miles, and Brian Kelly, I don't care cultural fit or not.
I agree.
We tend to forget at times Nick Saban came from West Virginia,
was
a former MAC and Big Ten coach. Great coaches know how to win at all places. I'm just blown away there in this situation right now. I really am.
Speaking of running thin, LT's hair was, but Dr. B has that back. Tell us about Dr. B.
Yeah, Dr. B is the man. I did the non-invasive treatment on the couch watching Alabama-Houston last night. I do it 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. Brown is doing it as well. Dr. B offers that Sensus transdermal infuser. This enables Dr. B to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary, as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. Call for the consultation. Great thing going into the holidays. Get this thing done at the first of the year. If you've been thinning out, you want to maintain what you've got, you want to grow back more, 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, t3hair.net.
And listen, our friends at New York Butcher, LT will tell you more about them in a second, but I'll be going by there in a few moments to pick up my turkey and my pan of dressing that I will have for day after Thanksgiving. When I'm watching Black Friday games when the show's over with, I'll go home and take this smoked turkey that Jim and the folks at New York Butcher Shop has prepared for me. He does it fantastically. He does smash burgers for LT. I was in there the other day and I was like, "Hey, where are those smash burgers that LT talks about?" He goes, "I gotta make them for you." And I was like, "Wait, they're like made to order smash burgers?" Yeah, made to order right there.
They come like a big meatball. He's already got them seasoned up. We call it dusted. Maddie is kind of the go-to. She'll reach out. He likes me, but he loves Maddie.
You gotta say no to her.
So I'll get her to put the order in. But any of that stuff.
But like the customers, is it off menu, or can the customers go in and order the smash burgers?
Oh,
you bring it up?
Okay. Yeah. You don't have the luxury of having a cell number, but you can walk in. It's only going to take you a couple of minutes, and there's so many cool things in the New York Butcher Shop. You could order one of those great sandwiches on their sandwich station. You can peruse the fantastic selection of wine sides. They've got it all. I would assume the turkeys he's been so busy, probably a little late on the turkeys, but you could give it a shot. And if there aren't turkeys available, you want to do kind of a non-traditional Thanksgiving. Our man Dan Orlovsky said yesterday, I would much rather have a steak and potatoes for Thanksgiving.
Would not complain.
A lot of people do that, but you can get it all. It's turnkey from our friends at the New York Butcher Shop, the original location in Cahaba Heights, Highway 119, the one we go to in Greystone. Rare quality, well-done service, the New York Butcher Shop.
Rev KJ writes in. Maybe the good Reverend KJ. Thanks for your service.
God bless you, my man of the cloth.
It's Iron Bowl week, and fans in this state are talking more about basketball than football. Did you ever think you'd see the day? Also writing in, JD, not a good sign when we're talking Alabama and Auburn basketball more than the upcoming Iron Bowl. What is the next sign of the apocalypse? I think Demi Moore gets pregnant and the seas are boiling somewhere in South America. I think are 2 of the 7 signs.
Two?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Even if that was a movie, right? The 7 Signs.
Oh,
I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's way back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I forgot how that
90s.
movie plays out. I remember the Serpent and the Rainbow and 7 Signs. Weird movies.
Yep.
Even if Alabama would have beaten Oklahoma, I think we probably would have opened with.
I mean, the basketball, those games are so big.
Yeah,
right?
a highly ranked opponent, classic game in Alabama's case, blowout of a big name in Auburn's in case. So, yeah, I think we still have.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I would say about this, and I don't know if you guys agree. If Alabama would have beaten Oklahoma 28-3, Auburn has no chance on Saturday.
Right.
The game itself, although the implications are kind of dead, the game itself has become much more intriguing.
No doubt.
I never believed for a minute of this season that Alabama could win this, or Auburn could win this game until Sunday morning.
So, what was all? I mean, and I was talking to somebody about this. Somebody that doesn't live in our state yesterday. What is the reaction? Let's just assume overtime goes differently. Could have easily, right? Let's assume Auburn catches a ball, or Auburn drops a ball. A&M catches a ball on one of those goofy, 2-point conversions, and A&M wins the game. The narrative coming out of the Auburn A&M win was amazing crowd, amazing moment, field rush, top 15 win, great night. Auburn fought back and all those things. if one of those plays goes the other way, the narrative is, my God, up 21-0 again.
Yep.
Couldn't close the deal.
Yep. 3
crowd did all they could, and you can't close the deal.
Double-digit blown leads in the second half against Oklahoma, Missouri, and now Texas A&M. And now Hugh Freeze can flip this. If you were told any Auburn fan at the beginning of the season, you go 6-6, they would have said disaster.
Yep.
6-6 looks so different now for Auburn if they are to close the deal and knock off Alabama.
Beat Alabama, go to a bowl game, recruiting momentum. I mean, it didn't come down to one play that has turned this, but one play did a whole lot in turning this whole narrative for Hugh Freeze.
Well, and you guys tell me this, because Aaron Suttles is something we haven't brought about. He talked about. He brought it up on Bama and Bourbon yesterday. If Alabama was to lose this game, which is not out of the realm of possibility.
Not at all. 11.5-point favorite.
They drop to 8-4. You see a lot of opt-outs and a ton of people transfer. Alabama loses a bowl and goes 8-5, and you've got major defections. What? I mean,
it becomes a rebuild situation at that point.
And I think the fan approval drops to about 0.
Well, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. The fan approval is.
You would have to do wonders in the portal. Now, they did pick up a couple of recruits yesterday. Flipped a running back from Michigan State, a 4-star running back, and got in Hill, the big edge rusher, big 4/5-star guy, depending on when he gets the Bama bump or not, or depending on what service you're looking at. So they picked up a couple of more guys in recruiting to replace some of the defections that they've had. So,
talking to Brock Heward about that, I said, do you think
Courtney Morgan in the GM office is still churning out wins over there?
Yeah, and that's what Heward said. He was like, I know Alabama fans are going to be disappointed, but how's the recruiting going? And I was like, well, they've lost a little, but I think a lot of guys are, these commitments now are jumping all over the place, but they've still got a top 5 class. And he's like, well, just by that, that's a win for Alabama, which I agree with. But and this is one of the reasons 12-team playoff is really awesome. There is a scenario where Alabama can still get in this.
They can, yes.
So there is still a scenario that Alabama can win a national championship. There's also a more likely scenario they go 8-5. But I mean, it's just crazy that we're sitting here the day before Thanksgiving, and either one of those things could happen.
Okay, let me get 2 spots in here real quick, and then I want you guys to paint me that narrow path to get Alabama into the playoffs.
I was going to ask y'all. Y'all got to paint it for me, but let's go ahead.
Yeah, because I don't think there is one. But, Brown, I saw you on our TikTok last night. Taylor got you to do a little update on TikTok. You made it sound like Alabama was in a good place. So explain it to me. First of all, LT, tell us about the great folks at Woodhouse Day Spa. We talk about great shopping all the time. Woodhouse is a great gift year-round. Not only Christmas, but you can give it now, or you can save it, go get it, and save it for Valentine's Day. Birthdays. It's just so good year-round.
Yeah, and want to remind you, the Black Friday Series special coming up. You can book this today. They won't run the card until Friday, but the only day you can actually purchase it on the credit card or dropping by and paying cash is on Black Friday. 2 days away. Stop by the Summit Shopping Centers. Go online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. 7 for 5 services. Purchase a series of 5 services. You're going to receive 7. 2 free services. Applies to all services except the hydrofacials. For hydrofacials, they're offering 4 for 3 series special. Purchase 3 hydrofacials. Receive that 4th. The series can be shared, never expires. And coming up Cyber Monday, online bonus gift card special. Receive the bonus gift cards at the following levels. If you purchase a $100 gift card, they're going to give you a $15 bonus card. $250 gift card, $40 bonus card, and up. Go to birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Stop by, see Stewart and that great staff located at the Summit Shopping Center.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Listen, don't even think about this until Monday. Just enjoy the eating, enjoy all the great foods and family time. But on Monday, planforme.com, it's time to get ready for the beach in 2025. Planforme.com, your personalized plan that works for you. No cookie cutter plan. Leslie and her board certified team will help you. Every time I go by there is somebody from the Next Round family in there. One of our viewers or listeners in there either getting a checkup or signing up for the plan to start with. That includes now the injection therapy that they have, medical weight loss supervision that they will go through the great therapy that can control your eating habits there. They've got meal replacements, a variety of different ways to help you with weight loss and control your blood pressure and cholesterol. Board-certified medical professionals there with Leslie, and no contract, no sign-up fees, and that first consultation absolutely free. Go to the website of planforme.com. So, Brownie, did I misread your video last night? It made it sound like you painted a at least a path to the playoffs for Alabama.
I guess a path exists, though. In the first segment, when I asked you guys if there's an upset this weekend, does Clemson, are they next man up? Both of you guys seem to discount that. So then it's impossible to get to Alabama if you don't think Clemson is next man up.
I was saying that an at-large berth for Clemson is not there. It's the two teams in the ACC. You're an ACC champion if Clemson's the ACC champion, or if SMU and Miami both win this weekend, they're both one-loss teams in the ACC championship. Yep. That's the only way the ACC gets in two.
Right.
If Clemson's in their championship game, which means they beat South Carolina, then the ACC is going to be a one-bid league, the winner of that game.
Yeah, I think the best case for Alabama in this scenario, and I've got a couple of scenarios, and it's a lot. Clemson needs to lose to South Carolina. It needs to come down to.
See, I'm just the opposite.
See, but can I call a quick time out there? Doesn't that then jump South Carolina over Alabama? Even though Bama won the head-to-head, that's a good win at the end of the year.
I still think they will take a look at this, and it will be 9-3, 9-3 if Alabama beats Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
And they will go back to the head-to-head. I think South Carolina's playing better than Alabama. But I think they would take Alabama over South Carolina at that point.
I think Clemson needs to be your ACC champion. I think you need an ACC loss this weekend, either Miami at Syracuse or Cal getting SMU, and then Clemson beating South Carolina, and then Clemson beating the other one, giving each of those two non-brands. I'll throw Miami non-brand because of the recent history, and Clemson's your ACC champion. I think that helps out Alabama.
I could see that scenario. So we all agree there only needs to be one ACC.
Oh, yeah.
So one ACC in that situation.
One group of five, e.g.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, you look at it. I mean, Alabama, if in fact it is Kansas State or Colorado or even Iowa State, I think Alabama would get in over those teams.
I hate to even waste oxygen discussing it. I know it's real, but Alabama does not deserve to be a college football playoff.
They don't. No.
There's nothing about Alabama.
But here's the other thing. If Alabama wins, and even if Tulane wins their next two games against Memphis and Army, I don't think that Tulane would jump Alabama.
No, I mean, at some point, Brand plays in, and the fact that the SEC and the Big Ten run this thing plays in.
That's what I've always said, Brown. If this truly is the way I think it is, and that the Big Ten and the SEC, they swing the big sticks, and if there's got to be 4 SEC teams in there.
Yeah.
If there's got to be 4 SEC teams in there.
Then Alabama is 4?
Then Alabama's in the conversation for 4. And you don't want South Carolina to beat Clemson, because then South Carolina, to me, becomes that 4.
I'm not exaggerating this. I think Indiana has a better chance of winning by 70 Saturday night
than losing to Purdue?
Than losing.
I would agree.
But if Indiana was to lose, they're out. They're behind Alabama. So that's kind of a shooing game.
Probably.
No, if they lose to Purdue, they're out.
And although
the political side of it, though, is the only thing I'm saying.
They lost to Ohio State and almost.
Yeah.
I really would like to know where Indiana would be had Ole Miss and Bama not lost.
Well, I think Purdue,
because they went all the way to 10 with those losses.
Purdue might be considered the worst Group 4 team, Power 4 team right now with football.
They are.
The other thing to look at, Tennessee, Vanderbilt hasn't been playing like they've been playing, in October, the last couple of weeks. They still lost by 7 in Baton Rouge. This is the one year, though, I think Vanderbilt going into this game is like, damn, we could not only win this game, get 7 wins for sure being in a bowl game, but we can ruin Tennessee's season. So that would not be a shocking upset at all.
And
I think Tennessee, although beating Alabama, both at 9-3, I think Bama jumps Tennessee.
Yeah, I would agree.
You want because of the quality wins.
Well, they were already in front of Tennessee, even considering the head-to-head. So they've already adjusted that.
The crazy thing is, Alabama lost at 5-5 Oklahoma. Indiana lost at probably the best team in the country, Ohio State. They both dropped 5 spots.
Correct.
That's why I say same drop in the rankings.
That's why I say if Bama had not lost and Ole Miss had not lost, I don't know where Indiana is. I think they might have been out.
And let me say this, and I agree with you, and I think even Jimmy Alabama agrees.
100%.
They don't deserve to be in.
But you got to have 12 teams.
But it would be so. And Scott Forrester walked into the bathroom yesterday, and he was like, Alabama's going to find their way in this. and it was funny because in the BCS, you had like a 24-point upset in Ames with Iowa State knocking off a really good Oklahoma State team. I mean, we have seen Alabama backdoor their way into college football playoffs
no doubt. That's right. A loss to Auburn and Jordan Hare and then an injured Auburn team not being able to beat Georgia allowed Alabama to get in and go on to win the national championship.
Now that could have been because Nick Saban sold his soul to the devil. I never saw him with his shoes off. Does he have a hoof?
That's a great question.
And Kalen DeBoer is too nice.
Yeah.
No soul selling there. Top of the hour from Academy Sports. We'll tell you more about what we're doing here at Academy coming up in our next segment. Of course, also our next segment, we'll go to Vegas and talk to Todd Fuhrman. Show being brought to you by a couple of great folks, including our friends at Odie's, where tonight's a big night.
Odie's Team Trivia. We do it every Wednesday night. Stop in, see us. Not only the Team Trivia tonight, but live music. And this will be at the Crestline location, ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. It'll be a little cold. You'll get that Thanksgiving feel out on that patio, inside or outside. They'll have college hoops on all night long. Great place to go for Black Friday if you're knocking off work. You just want to sit back, enjoy great food from the award-winning wings, great burgers, incredible sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich. Stop in, see Will Haver and that great staff. It's Birmingham Institution, 2 locations. Crestline, now Edgewood. It's Odie's Tavern.
Back to Academy Sports after this on TNR.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the 4th quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Sabian Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Todd Fuhrman in Vegas, one of my favorite segments. In just a second, a reminder, the show being brought to you as the temperatures cool off for this Iron Bowl. By the end of the game, into the high 40s, not Big Ten weather, but pretty chilly for us down here. Got to make sure that heat's ready to go this weekend.
Yeah, trusted name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. If any of these issues do arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train. HempHillServices.com for more information.
All right, we continue live from Academy Sports and Outdoors, brand new Highway 280 location. You can come by in person and register for tickets to Saturday's game, or you can just scan that QR code on your screen. Takes you right to Next Round Live, where you can also register for tickets to Saturday's game. We will make a winner on Friday. We'll do a drawing, get in touch with you, and you'll have tickets to the game Saturday. Todd Fuhrman with us. By the way, great deals at Academy all day today, too. We'll tell you more about that. Coming up, Fuhrman is in Vegas. BetTheBoardPodcast.com is the place you go to get his opinion on all the games. Normally with us on Friday, but we got too many games before Friday to get to. So here he is today. What is up, Fuhrman? How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. Hopefully you guys are properly prepping your respective households and getting ready for what should be a feast of football that kicked off, I guess, last night and will carry us all the way through Monday.
Yeah, we are. I was born ready for this. Let's start with the big game here in this state, the Iron Bowl. It has lost some of its luster. Auburn not having the season they wanted. Alabama not having the season they wanted. I don't think anybody thought that this would be the way the Iron Bowl would play out. Bama is an 11.5-point favorite. They have been wildly inconsistent. How do you even break this game down, Fuhrman?
You know, the biggest challenge is trying to figure out which team will bring their A game. And to your point, Brownie, you haven't been able to identify that throughout the course of the season. We did see Auburn put together, at least for stretches, one of their better football games of the season last week, outlasting Texas A&M. But you'd like to see a team that builds a 21-0 lead at home at night be able to put their foot down and not have to erase a late 31-28 deficit before winning that game in quadruple overtime. Auburn looking to win in Tuscaloosa for the first time since 2010 when Cam Newton was under center. Alabama, on the flip side, looking to avoid losing consecutive games for the first time since 2013 when it lost to Auburn and Oklahoma. And Alabama, 3 losses for the first time since 2010. As you go through this Auburn team, though, I think they've found their stride offensively, and their ability to run the football, for me, makes them a relatively attractive underdog catching 11.5. I just haven't seen the consistency from Alabama and some of the balance. We've seen those highlight reel explosive plays from Jalen Milroe, but the defense seems to take a drive off here or there. And last week, you're probably selling Bama stock at the top, given that rock-bottom offensive performance, but I'm just not sure Alabama right now is capable of going out there and winning by margin. You can also make the case that this game may mean a little bit more to Auburn outside of the Iron Bowl rivalry and everything else that's there for them to get that 6th win, build some momentum, and get those extra practices in. So for me, if I'm getting involved in this one, I'm taking Auburn plus the points, anything 11 or better.
Fuhrman, sometimes on our Saturday pregame, I'll throw out hey, how unbelievable does this three-team 10-point teaser look? I don't know how many people play those actually in Vegas, but last week, if you would have had Ole Miss, Alabama, and Penn State, not only do you not hit your 3-teamer, you lose all 3 sides there. Do people play those, and how big was last Saturday for the books?
You can't play most of them at the casinos in terms of that. It's the 6, 6.5, and 7. And the one piece of advice that I will pass along, you should not be playing teasers in any capacity in college football, given the volatile nature of the sport that you just outlined there. A much more efficient model in the NFL, and typically you'll find a little bit of upside there, especially if you're working through some of the key numbers. But last week, no doubt, much better on Saturday for the house than it was on Sunday. You look at the rash of favorites that we've seen in the NFL for what feels like 6 to 7 weeks now. now, including primetime games where the Philadelphia Eagles get home comfortably against your Rams on Sunday, followed up with the Ravens being bet from 2.5 to 3, even facing that 10-point deficit and running away. But when you get some of those large dogs, not just to cover on college football Saturdays, but to win outright, it goes a long way. The tricky part for the books is they normally need them to fall in certain time windows, and thankfully for them, Oklahoma wins that game outright, and it blows up pretty much everything that was going to it from the morning, mid-afternoon, and into the early evening. So arguably the biggest result that we saw last Saturday for most of the books.
Fuhrman, I know exactly you knew this was going to happen, but I think they call it the Palmetto Cup, that South Carolina and Clemson will have more playoff implications than Alabama and Auburn. This is turning into a really entertaining, fun game in that early window. What do you think of South Carolina Clemson?
Did not have that on my preseason prognostications, that this was a game that was going to go a lot further in terms of sending shockwaves throughout the college football world. What's interesting about this game is we saw Clemson open as much as a 5-point favorite at some prominent shops out here in the desert. As you can see by the betting market at MyBookie and everywhere else, we're now down below that field goal into 2.5, so it suggests one-way traffic. For me to get involved, I needed at least 3 on the underdog, was kind of slow on the trigger early on. But this is a Clemson team, when you go through their schedule, their resume leaves a lot to be desired. Yes, they have that 30-point loss against Georgia, losing a game at home against Louisville by double digits, yet somehow the committee wants to overlook all of that if the right domino falls here or there, Clemson can have a seat at the table, which I'm not quite sure how. Meanwhile, for South Carolina on the other side, incredible job for Shane Beamer and what he's been able to accomplish. We know how good the defensive line has been, but the offense starting to come around as well, and a sneaky, dynamic, explosive passing attack to complement Lenora Sellers. So with lean South Carolina, if you're able to get 3, but in my opinion, the bigger storyline to follow is I think you're going to see Sellers open up in that 18 to 20 to 1 range next year to take home the Heisman Trophy.
So, Fuhrman, I have thought all along if Notre Dame got that second loss to USC, it would knock them out of the playoffs. I don't know if that's the case anymore because of all that has happened in the bottom of the top 12. But if it is the case, USC is the only team that can do it. It's around 7.5 at mybookie.ag, depending on when you look. How do you feel about USC playing host to Notre Dame?
Yeah, that was one of the bigger jokes last week in college football, given the carnage that we saw all across the landscape. Indiana puts forth arguably their worst effort of any team in the top 15, yet they improved their overall playoff profile given the carnage that took hold everywhere else. So this is an interesting game because when you look at USC, they're one of 6 FBS teams to lead in the fourth quarter of every game this season. They have 5 losses in those games, matching the total of the other 5 teams combined. That's a who's who in Oregon, Boise State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and UNLV. So USC on their best days is more than capable of playing with some of the best teams in the country. The problem that I have with USC, and a little bit of disagreement compared to the decisions that Lincoln Riley has made, if Miller Moss is out there under center, I feel extremely comfortable with his ability to protect the football, be the distributor, and have some success against an Al Golden defense that's going to throw a lot of complex looks. They made the change a couple weeks ago to Jade Mayava, and I know they beat Nebraska as a result, held on late against UCLA, but I saw enough of Mayava when he was a starting quarterback at UNLV. He'll make the athletic play. He'll be able to extend things on the perimeter, but at the same time, there'll be a lot of head-scratching decisions, and this is just a higher level of physicality than USC has played, maybe since the Penn State game. At 7.5, lean slightly to USC, probably won't get there. Much more intrigued by the total. If it gets up to 52 across the board, maybe a slight buy point for me to go under that key number.
As you can imagine, Fuhrman, Alabama fans are hoping for complete chaos this weekend. 2 games that could actually play into that. I was going to ask you, better chance of the outright upset, the live dog coming through, Tennessee at Vanderbilt or Miami at Syracuse?
I think Syracuse, probably the slightly more plucky underdog in that spot. And the reason I say that is it can be a unique venue. When you go up to the Carrier Dome, you're playing on a faster track where Syracuse is familiar with some of the surroundings. Now, from an athletic standpoint, Miami has, nothing but playmakers in space. But the problem for the Hurricanes is they have been a very slow starting team. And in these high leverage spots on the road, if your opponent starts to play downhill a bit, it can start to snowball on you pretty quickly. The Miami secondary leaves a ton to be desired at the back end, and I think that's where Kyle McCord, who threw for more than 400 yards last week against UConn, can have a little bit of success in what would be a signature win in Fran Brown's first season up there in Central New York. The problem that I have with Vandy isn't that they haven't shown an ability to hang around against superior teams all season long. I wonder if they're going to be able to move the football against this Tennessee defense. So much of what Vandy does is Diego Pavia moving it on the ground, and the strength of the Vols team is that defensive front. It's another game that I think is lower scoring, so I could see making a case for the underdog. But in terms of an outright upset, much more inclined to back a team in that same price range with a total of 67 like Syracuse compared to the 48.5 we're seeing with Vandy. So I'd say Syracuse more likely to pull off the upset than the Commodores.
The SEC, we talked about it back at SEC Media Days in the summer, did a huge favor to Texas with the schedule coming in compared to other teams in the SEC, specifically Oklahoma. Ironically, Texas's first and only road night game in the SEC this year is at Texas A&M this week. Do you have numbers about road games at night in the SEC? I'm not asking you to repeat those, but it seems like that's the toughest scenario in the Southeastern Conference, on the road at night.
It definitely changes the dynamic, and while I don't have actual ATS numbers or trends based on a game taking place at night, what I do on my power numbers is make a slight adjustment. So a game like this, should it be played at 11 o'clock Central, Kyle Field being one of the better home field advantages, more in that 2.5, 3 range, but I'll upgrade that as much as a point and a half in a game like this. So it does give you a little bit of an intangible edge, especially against an opponent that there is no love lost, not having played since 2010. The crazy part about this, and I know A&M fans weren't thrilled with the way things transpired last week, nothing changes for the Aggies in the grand scheme of it. You beat Texas on Saturday, you get into the SEC title game, and you at least have an opportunity to control your own destiny. So if I'm Mike Elko and that coaching staff, that's what I'm trying to drum home. And I think this is a Texas team, when you go through the resume, you mentioned the schedule, Dunaway, leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, we saw them on the road at Fayetteville in a workmanlike performance against Arkansas, just mustered 20 points. We're not sure about the overall health of Quinn Ewers, and will it be a little bit of Arch Manning mixed in there? These are the kind of games in the past that we have seen teams with everything in front of them stub their toe. I would have loved to be able to get 7 off that A&M loss last weekend. Unfortunately, we're in that 5.5, 6 range. 6, a decent enough buy point for me to nibble here, but would not be shocked at all if we were talking about A&M, not their bitter rival in Austin, going to the SEC title game to oppose Georgia a week from Saturday.
Fuhrman, years ago when I was an undergrad and I was working hard at the same time, writing tickets and running a book for about a decade, we used to call it Turkey Day Massacre. Books could not win on Thanksgiving. It was insane, like how the public would just completely slay. It's a weird slate in the NFL. That Packers-Dolphins game really intriguing.
Who you like there?
I think there will be a ton of tickets written on the Lions. And the Cowboys-Giants, good luck. You got Cooper Rush and Tommy DeVito. But why traditionally? Is this something you've ever noticed, that on Thanksgiving it seems like the public always wins?
Oh, 100% picked up on it, and I think it's got a lot to do with teams starting to distance themselves from some of their compatriots. And when you have these quirky weeks, whether it's the multitude of games on Thanksgiving or in college, teams looking to travel, it's the teams that are more buttoned up, that have some of those leaders, both in the coaching staff and in the locker room on the college and the NFL side, that'll typically bring their A game. So it's not just you and narrative driven. We've seen favorites really dominate, and that comes much to the chagrin of bookmakers who know they get a lot more substantial volume in a weekend like this while everyone's sitting around with their families looking to try and bet. And some of those $10 and $15 3 to 4 team parlays can ratchet up liability a lot faster than the books feel comfortable with. Now, what's interesting about the trio of games that we'll see on Thanksgiving, all 3 underdogs have attracted professional money so far this week. We saw Detroit and Chicago get as high as 10.5. There was a pretty prominent betting group that came in on the Bears and it's taken it now as low as 9.5 at a shop offshore that deals to some of the most sophisticated customers out there. And it's a big number for Detroit, even an ATS juggernaut. But hard to ignore that the Lions closed right around a 13.5 point favorite against the Jags with Mac Jones under center, and they opened only a field goal shorter against the Bears team that, while they're not good, has shown a ton of fight in recent weeks against the Bears and against the Packers and Vikings before coming up just short. The Giants and Cowboys game, the dynamic in play there, it's an upgrade to Drew Lock from Tommy DeVito, should at least be able to stretch the field some. And this is a Cowboys team who, yes, comes in fresh off of the outright upset of Washington as a double-digit dog, but do you trust Cooper Rush and company to be more than a field goal favorite over anybody? Probably not. And the narrative we'll hear in the night game, Tua and this Dolphins team, how much they struggle in cold weather. and some of that's built into the number. In optimal conditions here, you'd be looking at Green Bay kind of a soft 3. Odds makers force bettors to pay a premium out to 3.5. That got gobbled up pretty quickly in the market, and a massive game for a Dolphins team who actually gets Green Bay, who could be a little bit undermanned with no Romeo Doubs. So I agree with all of these moves. I would wait, though, if you want to bet the late game. There's a better chance that you'll have widely available 3.5 should you want to back the Finns on the frozen tundra.
I'm going to money line the home teams in a 3-team parlay and just sit back and enjoy my turkey and dressing sandwich.
Makes me feel a lot better, Dunaway. I might have to do the exact opposite on the 3 road teams, and if the Bears win outright, I'm kicking back playing with a bit of house money before we get into the late games.
See, I'm your cranberry sauce to your dressing. That's perfect.
Dolphins, 10 games all time, 23 degrees or colder. What do you think the record is? I bet Fuhrman may know this number.
I think they're 1-9.
I would go 0-10.
Do you know Fuhrman?
I don't know I have numbers around the last 11 games they've played in sub 40. I know they're 0-11. So at 23, I'm going to guess maybe they have an elusive 1 win there.
Yeah, 3-7 actually was the number I saw, but those numbers don't start to add up when you go below 40 degrees. They do have one of the more famous ones, though, 1993. I don't know what the actual temperature was in that Thanksgiving Day game, but it was snowing. I do know that. And Miami had one of the wildest endings you'll ever see at Dallas. You youngs, go look it up on YouTube. You'll never see that one again. So I'm hoping for something like that Thursday night, Fuhrman.
Yeah, and I think most people would be surprised going, wait, where was that game played that there were inches of snow on the surface in that Dallas-Miami game? One of the more surprising visuals you will ever see on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. All right, under the radar pick. I know you took a tough one last week, but people still love you. You're 8-2. Do you have an under the radar for us before you go?
Yeah, a little bit disappointing. I mean, Louisiana Monroe, multiple chances, had a couple of turnovers, one in the red zone, one in the green zone, short on downs, and then a questionable that I'll call roughing the passer call that led to Arkansas State hitting explosive for the game-winning touchdown to win that 28-21. We won't go as far off the grid this week in terms of looking at some of the G5 teams, but we will go to Lubbock, where I'll take West Virginia plus 3.5. I know everyone talking about Neil Brown fighting for his job, but this was a West Virginia team last week who was a lot more buttoned up against UCF. With a healthy C.J. Donaldson, they should be able to run the football. Texas Tech defensively, as we saw in Stillwater, leaves an awful lot to be desired. And Red Raider fans already complaining about the 11 o'clock Central kickoff. They can't go through the light shows. They know it's not going to be the same kind of environment. I really think Neil Brown rallies the troops for one final victory, and I'll take the slightly better defense with a team that can run the football more effectively, plus the 3.5. So give me the Mountaineers there. The near miss this week was a real dumpster dive in the Mountain West. Would have otherwise been Utah State plus the points against Colorado State, should folks want to dabble there as well.
Okay, so West Virginia Mountain Mama is the official under the radar, but if you want to get the last cut under the radar, Utah State is your play from Fuhrman. So there you go. Todd, have a great Thanksgiving, man. We always appreciate you coming on, and I hope you get to spend some time with the family this week. Enjoy the games.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. You guys as well, and hopefully we can start to sort out some of this college football playoff chaos and have a better snapshot of how things will look going into championship Saturday next week.
Let's do it. We'll see you next week, Fuhrman. Thank you. All right, that is Todd Fuhrman with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. It was a continue from Academy. Don't forget you can register for tickets for Saturday's game here in person at Academy, or just scan that QR code you see on the screen there, and it'll take you right to nextroundlive.com, where you can also register for those same exact tickets.
I'll be running by Rodney Scott's right after the show, the Homewood location, to pick up a nice little spatchcock turkey. I was telling my dad last night. I was like, Dad, I'm bringing you a spatchcock turkey. He's like, son, what is that? And I said,
well, Brown can tell you.
It's gonna be a turkey with no spine, buddy.
That's right, spineless turkey. That's the way to do it, though.
Yeah, that's the way you cook it. That's the way you smoke it.
Look,
right?
and you can get it right now. You can still walk into one of the 2 locations locally of Rodney Scott's. There's one in Homewood, one in Trussville, and they are taking the pre-orders for Thanksgiving homemade Southern Sides desserts. These spatchcock turkeys, pit cooked, smoked over hot coals for hours, seasoned with the famous Rib Rub Rod's original sauce. Support local this holiday season. Rodney Scott's Barbecue, locally owned and operated. You see the QR code. You can check it out right there, or you can go to RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
Johnston RV Center is going to help you see America as well. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center. And online at JohnstonRVCenter.com. Now, like on this show, we love the United States military. They do too. we can never say thank you enough, right? But one small way they say thank you is a great discount at Johnston RV Center. So take advantage of that. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Whether you're active duty or you're a veteran, they give you a great discount there at Johnston RV. But prices are low across the board. Great time to take advantage of that and go see America at Johnston RV Center. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, johnstonrvcenter.com.
Just because we've tried to break this down, Pete Futek, who we all respect and like.
All right.
College
Like
football
news. Like Pete.
He has got how can Alabama at 9-3 get in? And he's got the scenario here.
All right.
I mean, this might work.
Is it lengthy?
No.
Oh, it's possible. Okay.
Bama destroys Auburn.
Okay.
I think that would the lasting impression has got to be really good.
Yeah, that's one of the more, feels like a little unlikely, but okay, go ahead.
And then 3 of these 4 things have to happen.
All right.
This one, it seems impossible. But Georgia loses to Georgia Tech and then loses to Texas.
Well, okay, I'll call a quick timeout right there. That goes against what we've always been told and believed, that if you're in Atlanta, you're safe. I mean, even with a loss to Georgia Tech.
Oh, boy, that would be a terrible loss.
I know, but
as a 19.5-point favorite, I think it's a possibility, though.
I don't think in these scenarios, Brown, we ever got you to a 4th loss.
Yeah, well, we started discussing that with Texas A&M, but it's that may not get there yet.
4th loss is different because you
tough.
never imagined that.
But not to argue with Pete, flip side of this is that also starts chipping away a lot at your best win.
Yeah.
It
That's the other
does.
thing. Yep, you're right about that.
It does.
Right.
Notre Dame loses to USC, and they say ugly.
I mean, I don't know how ugly it would have to be. I don't know that USC can beat anybody ugly right now.
Yeah, it's hard to believe Notre Dame's defense. And Fuhrman mentioned Al Golden, and he's got the defense dialed in and the way they run the football. And USC's been good, surprisingly, against the run. They've been able to run the football. I don't see them winning that game ugly. But if they were to win that game by double digits even, 2-loss Notre Dame, 3-loss Alabama, I mean, there would be a debate.
It would be a debate, but, I know the schedule isn't the same. Alabama's schedule's tougher. It feels like Notre Dame would deserve to be in over a 3-loss Alabama. Just I tested what happened at Oklahoma.
But okay, that can happen.
And then 2 more that I think can happen. Vanderbilt can beat Tennessee, and SMU loses to Cal. So I think, we could put those 2. I mean, we have seen much crazier things. Last weekend was crazier than those 2 things.
But I'll go back to what I've asked you guys numerous times. If Clemson just beats South Carolina, why do they not go in front of Alabama?
Okay, because Clemson needs to be the ACC champion. And
why?
Because then you knock out. I'm saying for Alabama to get in, Brown. I'm not saying for Clemson.
Oh, that's the question I'm asking, though.
How do you up Alabama? Clemson beats South Carolina, which takes South Carolina out of the conversation. That's my biggest fear if I'm Alabama on that 4th SEC team. Does it even deserve to be Alabama? I don't think it does right now. I think I would go South Carolina. Then you debate Alabama, Ole Miss on that 4th SEC team.
Yeah.
So if Clemson were to beat South Carolina, that eliminates South Carolina, right, from the conversation, the hot SEC team that could be number 4, the sexy pick there. So Clemson at that point has enough to be in the playoffs, which would keep Alabama or another Ole Miss. If we do, when we say Alabama, we could also be saying Ole Miss here. Would keep the other SEC team out. But if Clemson goes on and wins the ACC championship, now in that scenario, that means Miami has lost, and now you've beaten SMU. Yeah. So now you're just 1 ACC spot instead of 2 ACC spots.
All I'm saying is if all this stuff happens and Alabama jumps Clemson, if I'm Clemson, I'm like, what the crap? What did I have to do? I beat South Carolina.
Blow your mind. And by the way, if South Carolina was to whip Clemson, I think that's the way they could jump in front of Alabama. I think they slide by Clemson. Alabama beats Auburn. I still think Brand and head-to-head, I think, would be in front.
It's a huge quality win.
But I'm
for South Carolina.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt.
Blow y'all's mind.
Okay.
Wonder if the Big 12 and the ACC didn't have somebody in the college football playoff. How about this for the ACC?
Sell me on this one.
Okay. Clemson. So Miami and Cal both lose this weekend.
Miami and SMU.
Miami and SMU.
Yep.
And Clemson loses.
Okay.
Clemson's in the SEC or the ACC championship game, right?
If Miami loses,
Clemson's in because this is not a conference game for Clemson.
That's right.
And SMU is locked into your scenario.
Yeah. So Clemson with 3 losses.
So Miami and SMU both drop out of the top 12, and Clemson does not jump in your scenario.
Yeah, and then just match it up. I mean, who plays Clemson at that point?
It would be
Clemson
SMU.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're all out of the top 12 at that point.
Yeah, is there a chance the winner's not in?
Well, you would have to have the loser fall below Tulane at that point.
You need somebody else to take their automatic bid because the conference gets an automatic bid. So,
but if Tulane would have by 14 points to South Carolina, where do they drop to?
Well, I mean, they're 12th and Tulane 17. I mean, that's we just mentioned it. Bama lost, they dropped 5. Indiana lost, they dropped 5. That wouldn't be that crazy a drop for Clemson.
Can you imagine the uproar if the Big 12 and the ACC were both kept out?
Yeah. I mean, hard to imagine that they would do it politically.
Yeah.
Not that it wouldn't be right,
but there would be uproar.
Hard to make it happen politically. But to your point, if say Kansas State somehow got into the Big 12 championship game with 3 losses and won that.
Here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sell myself on this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to have all these crazy-ass scenarios that I'm going to write down, and I'm going to
pull for them.
I'm going to be like, game A, this has got to happen.
Why are we watching New Mexico? Well, it plays into it. Trust me.
There's some sneaky good fun in the weekend. We can keep an eye on that. We'll do the sneaky good game when we come back on the other side. The show being brought to you today by our friends at Gray's Tree Service. Gray's Tree Service, they'll get out there and cut down 4 dead pines like they did at LT, go down and cut a tree that eventually fell at Brownie's house, or they'll take care of whatever you need.
Yeah, fantastic guys. Family owned and operated for over 25 years right here in Birmingham. Trusted by nearly every golf course in town at the Birmingham Zoo. There's really no competition. They're experts in high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health, treatment to strengthen those trees and plants. Call them today, 205-281-6100. Tell them the next round sent you. You can you can scan the QR code that Scotty's got right there on your screen, or just visit graystree.com.
And our friends at Urology Centers, Alabama.com. You'll see this number pop up, and that's a number you can call for an appointment in an area near you, or just go to the website, urologycentersalabama.com. What you will get now, you'll find the details about 16 locations in Alabama. So they've got one near you, spread out. 35 urologists here, and they treat all your urological needs. That includes vasectomies if you're at that point in your marriage, or prostate health, kidney stones, everything in between. UrologyCentersAlabama.com, UrologyCentersAlabama.com to schedule an appointment today. Don't forget, we started the show off with basketball. Auburn is 1 win away from becoming only the 3rd team to win the Maui Classic from the SEC. Nobody's done it since 1993. Auburn plays Memphis today at 4 o'clock after their demolishing of North Carolina last night. And Alabama got a marquee win over Houston, 85-80 in overtime. They play tonight at 9 o'clock back on TBS against Rutgers, who's was a top 25. Just on look right games today. Today, by the way, the first time since October 3rd, we don't have a.
Well, it's a good one, guys.
By the way, I had the zip last night. Outright Dallas 8 overtime, knocking off Toledo.
Oh,
and that was when your play
should have been your play. That should have been your play.
Upset alert.
Yeah.
Enough.
Wouldn't have been enough.
No.
That would have been 13.
13 and a half, yeah. I'm down 16 and a half.
Oh.
But I felt, I don't know, and you guys probably didn't watch it on the site, but I felt so bad because Toledo's kicker had already missed a couple of chippies, and he comes in and he misses, I think it was a 28-yarder to win the game in regulation.
Oh, an extra point. Lance.
And I just felt like he walked by Jason Candle, the coach, and the coach didn't even look at him. And I'm just like, those are the things, like, I'm going to get the cover. Let the kid make the catch.
Yeah, that's right. You just wanted the cover.
Forster, chime in here. Next year, do you want to factor in?
Already changed the rules.
I'm just saying, next year, last weekend, just in case I'm running away with it again.
Yeah, super dog.
Do you want to factor in that there's a chance to lose points in the final weekend?
No.
What's Scott's thought?
No, I would not be down for that.
Okay. I don't think it's going to play out like it did this year.
So how would you lose points?
By if
you don't win, you lose the point.
You lose the point spread that you bet.
Yeah,
like I would go minus. In this case, minus 13.5.
Yeah. I would almost be negative because I took Purdue.
No, I would just talk about the final weekend, not throughout the year. The final weekend.
Oh, I know. I would almost be negative. Purdue's 26.5.
You'd be the Jeopardy guy. Sorry, Tony.
Yes.
It's a good run though. Thanks for being with us.
Can you participate in Final Jeopardy? You have no money to bet.
God, I forget what popped on. I was trying to split box to get the quad box and dual box going on the college football playoffs and the start of the Alabama game last night, the rankings on one TV. Eventually, I just got them turned on the other TVs. But I was trying to do it on one to start with. So I had ABC 30-40. The end of that popped up when I was fiddling with it.
Yeah.
And I finally saw Wheel of Fortune with a new host. I forgot that it was going to be Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, I forgot too.
I forgot that too. Yeah,
and he was
How
the
about that?
host
Was
there.
he good? I mean, I imagine he's good at everything.
Well, it was very cheesy,
Yeah.
cheesier than it used to be.
Right.
But of course, I haven't watched it in 20 years. But
was he hitting on Vanna?
No, but like the third contestant was, I swear, I think it was Igor Milov. So Igor, who spoke with what seemed to be a very bad Russian accent, like he's faking it, but Igor Milov. Now you watch the Siberian version of Wheel of Fortune, and yes, we used to play for food and oil, or he said something like that. It was weird prizes he played for, and I was like, well, this doesn't seem real. I'm in some kind of fever dream, but that was not the case. Odie's tonight for trivia. It's always a very special night there. Tell us again about Odie's.
Yeah, OD's Team Trivia. We do it every Wednesday night. Come out, your opportunity to win prizes. Sit back. You've got family and friends in town. This is the big night at OD's Team Trivia. Live music will follow it up. You always get the live music on Friday and Saturday nights at both locations, the newest location in Edgewood, the original location in Crestline. Come join me, Brown, Will Haver. Enjoy the great food tonight, some chili, getting you ready for Thanksgiving. Ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Again, 2 locations, Birmingham Institution. It's Odie's Tavern.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Here at the Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn, Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
Brownie's going to tell us why we're here at Academy in just a second, but first LT will do Michelson, and then we'll get to some sneaky good games and 4 downs in this segment here as we get ready for 5 straight days of football before we go without it again.
Yeah, very exciting. Hey, look, if you want to see with the clarity, I heard somebody talk about this the other day, and I used to compare it to this. Back in 2003, first time I ever had an HD, high-definition television, that was the difference in going from contacts to LASIK and the 2015 vision I've now got. Do you or a family member need to make your benefit selection at work now? Do you know your FSA or flex spending can be used to help you see clearly without the hassle of glasses or contacts? Yes, LASIK and Michelson Laser Vision might be a good choice for you. Book your free LASIK consultation today with Dr. Mark or Dr. Jen Michelson. Find out if you can use your FSA or flex plan funds to get the freedom from the hassle of glasses or contact lenses. Make the phone call that I made 21 years ago, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
By the way, real quick, a discussion of Thanksgiving food / argument has broken out in the mybookie.ag chat if we want to revisit that later in the show.
Well, we have
a lot of hot opinions on that.
I'll tell you, in Trash on the Table, Tyler has pulled us, according to Ranker, the top 10 side dishes for Thanksgiving.
Perfect. I'll remember some of these, and I'll bring those back in that moment. We are at Academy Sports and Outdoors, the brand new Highway 280 location. You need to come by here. It's the old Best Buy next to Target, right behind Chick-fil-A, just off in Birmingham. For good game while you're here, you can register in person while you come shop. If you can't make it by, nextroundlive.com through the start of the show Friday, we'll have registration open. Scott's got the QR code on screen, right? All you got to do is scan that QR code. Takes you right to our website where you can register for those tickets to Saturday's game. We'll give those away on the show Friday. But you can come by here and register in person. Little T's just to my right, and she'll help you through that. All you do is just fill out the slip and drop it in. We'll draw for that on Friday. While you're at Academy, do some great Christmas shopping. They've got the Academy store card, the Academy Sports and Outdoor store card. When you open it, you get $15 off your initial purchase. As they were telling me, make a $16 purchase, you spend $1. $15 purchase is free. And then your next purchase is 5% off the entire purchase. So great way to shop this Christmas at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Academy Sports and Outdoors, Highway 280.
All right. Before we get to the sneaky good game, I would tell you that tomorrow night, and a lot of people are excited about getting SEC teams to go play in this weather in December. Friday night, Nebraska and Iowa, kickoff temperature 19 degrees for that game. That's the kickoff temperature for
Sounds
Nebraska
miserable.
and Iowa. Is there a chance that's Kirk Ferentz's last game?
Oh, yeah.
As a regular season.
I mean, so there's discussion of him retiring. They're not going to fire him, right?
It's going to happen. I mean, I would be absolutely shocked if it doesn't happen in the next 3 to 5 years. But I think each and every year, much like Nick Saban, we go back to that. Now that Mac Brown has been fired, Nick Saban is retired. I mean, Kirk is one of those old school guys. And, I mean, he saw it firsthand with Proctor, coming in from the transfer portal and then transferring right back out to his former school. He just seems like a guy that wouldn't want to deal with it at this point in his life.
And it does seem like he got sideways with the university about his son.
Oh, yeah.
The way it was forced out. So I felt like maybe one more year for him there. Just interesting thing to watch. Maybe that's Kirk Ferentz's last game. By the way, no problem with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders playing in the bowl game. Prime says he expects both of them to play in the bowl game, no opt-out.
I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah.
That he would go on record saying that right now with the earning potential those two have. Now, he was also on record, and I think rightfully so, criticizing the Jim Thorpe Award Foundation.
Yeah. Let's get into that then before we do the sneaky good game, because I had that as a bigger topic. Travis Hunter, if you missed it, was not a finalist for the Thorpe Award. which goes to the nation's best defensive back. Is that correct?
Yeah. How's he not a finalist? I mean, you guys watch football, right?
I would imagine he's not a finalist because he is a finalist for the Biletnikoff, the Bednarik, and the Maxwell. The Biletnikoff for the best wide receiver. Maxwell is basically the Heisman before they give you the Heisman. And the Bednarik, I think he's going to win all three of those.
That makes it even dumber to me that he's a finalist for all those, and then the position most people think he will play on the next level, he's not even a finalist.
Yeah, I think what happens is I think people look at his stats defensively, and they don't throw his way. Like I have seen multiple times where you look in a Colorado box score, and you'll see him with 100-plus receiving yards, and you'll see him with 0 tackles or passes defended because nobody's throwing his way.
Yeah. It just makes no sense. Make it make sense, Jim. You can't.
Well, I was just saying, as a guy who votes for those kind of things, you've got to look past what you're talking about, the stats. You got to say he doesn't have stats because somebody throws at him. And I had him in mind.
Oh, you're a voter in that?
It's Football Writers Association votes for a lot of these.
Okay.
I would tell you that you're sitting there and it's like it's a click, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, on this one, which one of these 4 guys do I want? Because it's been narrowed down to where it's basically I'm voting, like I'm in a ballot box and I'm voting.
Yeah.
And I would imagine there are some people who write or broadcast in the country that sit there, God, I just voted for him for the Maxwell. I just voted for him for the Bednarik. I just voted for him for the Biletnikoff.
It's not upper
Am I going to put Travis Hunter down for everything? I'm just trying to explain. I disagree with it.
I know you do, and I know you're explaining it, but those people shouldn't be voting.
In
that's
fact,
a stupid way to vote.
He should be more for the better defensive back than he is up for the best wide receiver.
I agree completely. He's made a far more impact. Well, I mean, it's hard to say that, but I do think he's probably impacted more games as a defensive back simply because, as you said, he a lot of times takes away a third of the field.
But that's the irony is that I think he's going to win the Biletnikoff.
Yeah. I mean,
and I don't necessarily think he's the best receiver in the country.
Jeremiah Smith.
There's several guys.
Yeah. You know, the crazy thing is I was looking at this yesterday because when this guy played in college, you almost never heard his name. And if you watch him in the NFL, you don't hear his name a ton. The NFL leader and fewest yards allowed per catch as a defensive back is Pat Surtain. And when he was at Alabama, Pat Surtain, you would go games without hearing his name.
Yep.
And now when you watch Denver, how often do you see Pat Surtain? People don't throw at him, man.
Yeah, I mean, he is considered one of the top 2 or 3 corners now.
That stat tells you he may be that guy. So, I mean, it's just that's the whole thing about defensive back. But I would think that Travis Hunter gets so much publicity that even the writers that aren't willing to sit down, or the media members that aren't willing to sit down and put in the time to actually do this, would have just voted for him based on the publicity. And I do wonder, I think Prime overplays this, but I do wonder if some of it is a hate vote.
Yeah.
Not like racial hate or anything. I'm just talking about like they hate the product. They hate everything that goes with Colorado football.
The show that Prime brought to him.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen the finalists.
I haven't either, but I just know Hunter wasn't one because Prime was.
I would think Xavier Watts would be your favorite.
For the Thorpe Award, best DB. Nope, it is very SEC heavy. Former Alabama DB Caleb Downs.
Okay.
Current Georgia Malachi Starks.
Okay.
Both those are fantastic.
And current Texas DB Jahdae Barron. Those are your 3
Xavier Watts should be a one of these guys right there. Is Nick Nash?
Are you going to give him your Thorpe Award? I'll just give my Thorpe Award.
That's what Prime says.
Please tell me, though, on the Biletnikoff, my man Nick Nash, the next Cooper Cup from San Jose State.
You don't have him, Jim?
He has got to be on that list.
I don't. It seems like it was Jeremiah Smith, Travis Hunter, and one other guy.
They give
Hunter is on there.
Brandon Marcello, quick place to go. He has all the
your award finalists. There's 3: Travis Hunter, T. McMillan at Arizona, who's really, really good, and your guy Nick Nash.
Yeah.
So they actually, I think they did their homework on that. I mean, that's Colorado, Arizona, San Jose State. That is off the beaten path for 2 of those guys. I mean, you got to really watch some football to know who Nick Nash and T. McMillan are.
Okay, but I'll just ask you, would you rather have Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State, or Travis Hunter? And wide receiver only.
And wide receiver only?
Yeah. I'd rather.
I'll take either one.
Just this year or moving forward?
Just right now for this award.
For this award, I would say Travis Hunter. But Jeremiah Smith is going to ultimately be a better receiver than Travis Hunter.
Okay. Ryan Williams or Travis Hunter?
I'd take either one.
I would take moving forward Ryan Williams. But this year I would take Travis Hunter.
With the same quarterback. I mean, I think Ryan Williams' numbers would be different if he was with Shedeur at quarterback with
kidding me?
With that passing attack there.
Well, some of those defenses they face.
I mean, Alabama with Shedeur would be undefeated. Auburn.
No shot at Jalen. Oh, wait. It was a shot at Jalen.
100%.
I mean, it's just the inconsistencies. I think Auburn with Shedeur would be a 9-win team. And, maybe we're talking about them like we're talking about South Carolina.
At that point, you're probably talking about Cam Coleman as a Blitnikoff finalist. All right. Before we hit the button for our sneaky good game today, Tyler, LT is going to tell us about our friends at Inverness Country Club. This is, you mentioned it, I think, yesterday about a gift to yourself.
Yeah, like gift to yourself. A lot of people do this because, look, you bust your ass, you work hard for your money, and sometimes you just don't have a good gift giver in your family. Not that gifts are that important, but give yourself the gift of a country club membership. Or how about this? I used to do this stuff back in the day where I would give the what was the little vacuum cleaner called?
The Dust Buster?
The Roomba.
The Roomba.
The Roomba.
Roomba.
I'd give the Roomba because I knew it would get used. I'd give the old treadmill because I was going to use it too. You can give these double-up gifts like an Inverness Country Club membership where you tell the wife, hey, this is going to be great because this summer you're going to be able to go lay out by the pool, run up that tab. We can have dinner out at the country club. Childcare, we can drop little jack off whenever you want. But at the same time, you're going to be playing golf 3 or 4 times a week. So it's a win-win. Check into it from our friend Aaron. You can get a tour of the Unbelievable Club. 205-991-8608. Best days happen in Inverness. Maybe you relocated to retired. Inverness, great place to network. 205-991-8608 or ICCalabama.com.
Pop-up bags are amazing. You've got those shoes.
I don't. I've got a shoe. So I used to have a shoe that looked just like this, and I've got another, like a New Balance shoe that
looks like that.
Yeah, I don't even
that's
know
what from this angle, I thought it was a New Balance shoe.
Well, they probably watch you now. I probably did like a high kick or something, and the camera caught the shoe.
Well, I'm just saying, whenever you ordered or bought those shoes or looked at those shoes, now it's saying, oh, he likes this shoe here.
That shoe was in a size 6.5, so I don't know who's been messing with my computer.
I think I do. It was me. All right, it's time to hit it could be Tyler. Tyler, what size shoe do you wear, man?
I wear a size 9.
That's the most random question.
Way to go, dude.
Hey, you didn't go to what was the Moana 2 or whatever?
What are you talking
Moana?
Did you go see Moana too, Tyler?
I saw that last night.
Last night? How was it?
It was just fine. It's a pretty standard Disney movie.
Okay. Yeah. Just fine and standard. Tyler's review on that.
Animated musicals. It checks a lot of boxes for some people. All right, hit the big button. Let's do our sneaky good games. Brought to you by McCurry. Do it, man.
The College Football Spotlight.
This weekend's sneaky good game.
All right, you can find all the difficult-to-rent vehicles at McCurry. McCurry Van and Car Rental is where you go, and you can find the passenger vans, the SUVs, the trucks, the cars that are hard to find. They're easy to rent at McCurry. In and out fast locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, 2nd Avenue Northwest in Coleman, and Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Reserve your rental today, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryrentals.com.
From one side of the rivalry, it's the most important game maybe in their program history for Farmageddon. Iowa State's in a championship game with a win over Kansas State, most likely. That's a sneaky good game. 6:30 primetime on Fox. It'll be cold. I just told you 19 degrees in Iowa tomorrow night. It's probably still cold there. It's Farmageddon. It's already the tractor capital of the world when these two schools get together. And now Iowa State, finally a chance to go play for a conference championship. That's sneaky good to me.
Yeah, I took a look at that. I'm going another Big 12 game. The interesting thing about that game, I've got a feeling Kansas State is going to win this game. Yep. Kansas State can still find their way into the Big 12 championship game. I also saw on a short list Matt Campbell for North Carolina. And maybe this is one of those games where he's in Ames and he's like, look, I know it can get cold in Chapel Hill, but it ain't going to get this cold. This wind ain't going to blow like
this. We've got some trees to block the wind.
My sneaky good game, these teams are finally peaking at the right time. Kansas heading to Waco to take on Baylor. Sawyer Robertson's been really good. Jalen Daniels, Devin Neal, this offense for Kansas. Kansas is a 1.5-point favorite. They're trying to get bowl eligible. I have got a feeling that Baylor wins this game, but that should be a fantastic 11 o'clock Saturday game.
As you'll see, my sneaky good game was pulled up to be Kansas and Baylor as well. I'll drop drop down one line, though.
All Big 12.
All Big 12. Furman's under the radar pick if you missed it. I'll make it my sneaky good game. West Virginia at Texas Tech. Expected to be a lot of points in this game, a total of 64.5. Texas Tech is a 3.5-point home favorite, but Furman liked West Virginia in the upset there. 11 a.m. FS1 game, and that's what was playing into it. I will make this point. I am not going to make this my sneaky good game by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just going to say this is a weird kick time. One thing we have not talked about in the conference football playoff rankings is the fact that Boise is in exceptional shape to hold that bye. Like, it's going to be hard for somebody to pry that one out of their hands if they just keep winning.
That's right.
That's an 11 a.m. Central Time kick at Boise. That's a 9 a.m. Pacific Time kick Friday.
Ooh.
Oregon State at Boise. Or are they Mountain Time? Is Boise Mountain or Pacific?
Boise is, I think they're Pacific.
I think they're Pacific. Yeah. I mean, that's an 11 a.m. Fox game, guys. That is an early kick time at Boise.
They do have
sneaky
good skiing, so they may be Mountain Time.
Yeah, Oregon State's just no good.
They're no good. They're a 19-point dog. I'm just saying.
You know, the interesting thing there is if Jeanty is
they're Mountain real quick, so I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's still 10 a.m.
Still 10 a.m.
Yeah.
But if Jeanty is not 100%, which he did leave with an injury, he came back. He was productive when he came back. But if he is kind of gimped up, I mean, that offense is completely different.
Well, and you wonder, Jim, I mean, playing with the pressure of knowing that you've got that one seed and nobody's really pushing you, but just how much does that factor in right there?
Yeah, that bye, you mean.
That bye, excuse me, not the one seed, but the bye. I mean, they're going to be the 4 seed, but, I mean, that's crazy. When this whole thing started, did you ever envision a group of 5 getting a bye?
Nope.
Nor did I.
Nor did I have even the conversation this late in the year of 2 getting in.
Yeah.
I didn't think that would be possible. It would take a lot of chaos, and chaos is what we've had. That's our Sneaky Good game brought to you by McCurry. You brought up Ashton Jeanty. Here's our storm restoration roofing, a stat of the day. Ashton Jeanty, 30-plus runs, 40-plus runs, 50-plus runs, 60-plus runs, and 70 or more plus runs. He leads the nation in every one of those categories.
All the explosives.
He has more touchdown runs and 30-plus runs than anybody in football. Same with 40, same with 50, same with 60, same with 70. That's an amazing thing. He's first in the nation in all of those categories.
I'm trying to remember the last back we've had this dominant, and I think it falls a little short, or people don't get as excited because he is in the Power 5, and he's doing it at Boise State. Let's not forget what he was able to do on the road against the number 1 team currently in college football in Oregon. He went 150-plus in that game, and they couldn't do anything to slow him down. You know, our man Brock Hewitt on Unlock makes this, and he was the first to make this comparison, and I think it's fantastic. Marshall Faulk. Like, I don't think he's got the hands out of the backfield to become – Marshall Faulk had the hands to be an elite receiver. But I do think the impact and the ability to take – you know, just anytime he touches the ball, he can take it 90 yards.
Well, Derrick Henry had 2,219 yards in his senior season. Or his final season in Alabama. Was not a senior, but his final season in Alabama. Ashton Jeanty, and that was in 15 games. They played 15 games, obviously, that year. Ashton Jeanty is at 2062. I mean, he's less than 200 yards away from that mark, and he's only played 11 games. And Derrick Henry had one of the most dominant seasons I've ever seen in college football.
Have you spent money on him yet in DraftKings? I couldn't do it this weekend now.
I did a couple of times.
Matty does it every week. He was almost $14,000 last week.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I get a lot of points from him, and then I get 0 from so many guys.
Yeah.
2 points. So I've had a bad formula for DraftKings all year long. When we come back, here's a couple of things. LT's about to tell you about HydroLive. That's our storm restoration roofing stat. I'll tell you about them in our next segment. A lot of Iron Bowl and 4 downs. Part of the Iron Bowl conversation is how I believe Hugh Freeze has played a brilliant public relations game this week.
Okay.
It's been chess versus checkers PR game this week for Hugh Freeze. I'll explain to you what I mean when we come back. The show brought to you by our friends at HydroLive. Tell us about HydroLive.
Yeah, make sure you're properly hydrated this Thanksgiving holiday. IV therapies, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, now weight loss therapy, something to look into as we roll into the new year. They're all these services under one roof. Very important when you mention the next round, they're going to give you 20% off all these great services from our friends at hydrolifetherapy.com. You can go online. You can book your appointment there. Walk-ins are welcome. Very important. Mention the next round, 20% off all the great services. 2 locations in Birmingham, Homewood, Highway 119 at Greystone, also Tuscaloosa. Ask about the memberships. Great holiday gift as well right there from our friends at Hydrolife Therapy.
And our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City. He's going to probably take the weekend off, a little holiday weekend here, but he'll be back on your roof on Monday if you want, right? Just give him a call, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. He promises not to eat too much on Thanksgiving to fall through your roof, right? He'll get up there. Actually, Greg's really slimmed down, man. He's muscular. It looks like he's ready to play linebacker again. He and his sons will get up there and give you that free, no-cost roof evaluation. He'll check it out and let you know that roof inspection, whether you got problems up there or not. A lot of times he comes down and he tells our viewer and our listener, listen, no problems on your roof, and your roof is probably still have 4 or 5 more years left in it. Don't worry about replacing it yet. He hopes then in 3 or 4 years you call him back. He takes care of those roof replacements, insurance claims, storm damage, restorations. He does it all. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. The most trustworthy guy you'll ever meet in business. 205-542-3531 or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. When we come back, great PR by Hugh Freeze. The Alabama-Auburn game broken down. It's LT's last chance to talk about that game, plus 4 downs. It's all straight ahead. Live from Academy, this is the next round.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Thanksgiving is here, and let the New York Butcher Shop be the place to get all of your holiday meal items. Their premium turkeys are fresh, free-range, and hormone-free. The New York Butcher Shop also has a wide selection of chef-prepared side items to help save you time in the kitchen. Pick up a bottle of wine, and your meal will be complete. Turkeys are selling fast, so place your order today. 2 locations to serve you, in Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the 4th quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there. On the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Back live at Academy Sports, this great new location off of Highway 280. I can't tell you, it'd been months since I'd been in Academy Sports, and I feel like I'm by this place once a week since it opened up, Brown. And we've got a great deal going on right now. We've got some great tickets for the big rivalry game coming up, and we're going to give that away Friday, right?
That is correct. We are giving away the tickets Friday. You can register in person right here, or you can just scan the QR code that Scott has put on the screen and go to nextroundlive.com. That QR code will take you right there to the link to register for the tickets courtesy of Academy. While you're here at Academy Sports and Outdoors, or if you're able to swing by this weekend, get one of those new Academy Sports and Outdoors cards, $15 off your initial purchase with that card, and 5% off your second purchase. So you continue to save. You build points. It's great with approved credit there. You can sign up right here in the store, Academy Sports and Outdoors. It is the brand new Highway 280 location. In the old Best Buy right there in the Target Shopping Center. Academy Sports and Outdoors, great spot for Christmas. Phenomenal staff, too. They work really hard here at Academy Sports.
All the time. And a clean store, too, man. They are on top of keeping this place clean as well. Yep. Don't forget, if you're out shopping today, Black Friday as well, Sterling and the crew down on Highway 119 in Alabaster, they'll take care of you at Champy's world-famous fried chicken. We were coming up with some names for the Dunaway special. 2 big white breasts right there with all the sides, brined overnight, cooked to order. It's just fantastic food. Love it so much. And don't forget dessert, too. Made on-site dessert, Mississippi Delta mud pie, and the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. A little taste of Mississippi.
Man, it's like
right there.
Like him in the sip.
At Champy's world-famous fried chicken. Go see Sterling and the crew right there at Champy's. All right, Tyler, if you will give me cut number 3 first, DeMarcus Riddick, and then cut number 4. I want to relive it. This is Riddick, what he said a couple of days ago, and then Milroe's response yesterday. But here's while Tyler's getting those ready, here's my public relations chess versus checkers move here.
You love Dunaway. One thing that has been constant in this show, Lance, Dunaway loves to think that he would be a good PR person. Like, I think you envision yourself in the West Wing, and President Biden or President Obama or President Trump sits down and says, how are we going to handle this? And Jim's like, I got the answers.
No, it's President Bartlett, because in the actual show, and I was the Rob Lowe character.
Of course,
I was Sam.
Yeah,
episode 1.
You frequently confuse him and Rob Lowe, right?
Episode 1 gets confused, takes a hooker home.
is in sales. There's a lot of PR too, and you label yourself one of the worst sales guys of all time.
I don't think I label myself that. I am one of the worst
sales
guys of all time.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Like it's hard to be good in sales if you're not good in PR.
Jim's best PR is second-guess PR. Jim's best PR is how you should have done it.
Yep.
Is this way. That's Jim's best PR.
I don't think that was a bad sales approach. That was honesty back when I told the lady whose business is now out of business now. But when I told her on our first sales call together, our only sales call together, when I said, why do you need to advertise? It's 1:30 on a Tuesday and you're packed.
Place is packed. Who needs advertising anymore?
Now she went out of business 4 months later.
What could have been if she would have kept that brand out?
Probably location 8 by now, you think?
If she'd have just advertised.
Yeah.
Or maybe lighten that roux up a little bit in her gumbo. One of the two.
You know the story? I'm sorry to hijack. I promise you this won't be long. But I got hooked in for some reason this morning to the story of Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, which is so random.
Used to be a really good client back in the day.
Yeah, so
used to be a really good steak back in the day.
The original.
It's out of sight, out of mind.
It really is. The original was down in New Orleans, and it was Chris's Steakhouse. And it's an amazing story. So this guy started it and sold it, and it kept, whoever would buy it kept going out of business, and he would buy it back for pennies on the dollar, build it back up, sell it again. He did that 6 times, and she was the last one. And finally it burned, and she was going to have to move it, and she was just going to move the name. He's like, nope, you can't have the name. No, this is a terrible decision on his part. Like back in the day, I don't know what he could have sold the name for or just agreed, hey, let's partner up on this deal. So she just changed it to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and it exploded after that. And they ended up with a ton of locations. And that one guy, just because he wanted to be a turd about it and not let her have the name Chris's Steakhouse, he apparently, I think he just went out of business.
Wow.
Isn't that wild to think about, though?
Yeah. Over Chris. That sounded a great name.
Yeah, it was a terrible name. And she herself had said, I hated the name. But it had become such an iconic name, I had to stick with it at that point.
Yeah, you have to. All right, here's my PR game. Now that I've told you I'm really bad.
All right.
And I will tell you that the first time I approached Hugh Freeze on a PR thing was back at SEC Media Days, and Little T was there to see him laugh at me, and Brownie was there to see him laugh at me. I told him, I said, listen, what you should do in recruiting is get all these guys to commit to other schools, and then when you get closer to signing day, you start flipping them all to Auburn. You just send out one text to the group text, say, all right, guys, flip day.
Let's go. Yep.
And you do that. He laughed. It says that wouldn't work.
Yeah, I think his actual lines were, I wish it were that easy, Jim. Yeah.
So here's what I think has happened this week.
Okay.
And I believe this is not a Jim idea. I think this has happened this week. Coming off of what has been a disappointing season for Hugh Freeze, but a very emotional win for Auburn on Saturday night. With the rushing of the field, the recruits rushing onto the field, the players crowd surfing, great video from Little T of that. You can see that on our platform. All the excitement around their game. Alabama losing, making the exclamation points even bigger, capital letters for Auburn. And now you're going to the Iron Bowl. So why don't you roll out some future Auburn Tigers, the freshmen, on rivalry week, and let them go out there and say the things that you saw DeMarcus Riddick say? Because look, if you lose this game, nobody thought you were going to win this game anyway. If you end up losing this game, and if you go out there and you win it, and these freshmen are talking smack and they're swagger, then you can play it up like DeMarcus Riddick called his shot. This is the future. This is Auburn football. It's our youth movement. This is what happened. We have flipped the rivalry in 1 year.
So are you saying
PR
like sit some seasoned veterans?
No. You're saying in the media game.
He sent out DeMarcus Riddick. He knew DeMarcus Riddick was going to say that. He knew when we asked Peyton Thorne let it out of the bag when we asked him on Tuesday. You go back and watch when you asked him, and he was like, he got a little smile, and he was almost like, guys, this was so orchestrated for Riddick to go out and say this.
I think it was more.
And you guys have bought into the hype here.
I think
this
it was more you sold him like you went to some sort of classes for how to handle the media. And I think his smiling was, my guy did not go to these same classes because he's saying things that we've got to cash this check that he has written.
Right.
Yeah. But if they do.
But what if Alabama kicks him in the dick?
Then nobody thought. That's what everybody thought was going to happen anyway.
I don't know. I'll just ask Little T on the fly. Do you think you guys have a good chance of winning this game?
A good chance. Put a percentage on it. Percentage chance of winning the game, Little T. 20%, she says.
Oh, you don't believe that in your heart.
I'm not talking about. No. This is rational, your belief. Haven't won
so would it, before this last weekend, would it have been almost 0%? Yeah. I think there's a lot of Auburn fans that believe they can win this game.
Forrester in the MyBookie.ag chat room says 10%. Forrester's as passionate an Auburn fan.
10%.
10%.
I've got it at 37%.
That's a weird number. Why did you go so specific?
Because that's the way ESPN probability does it. I guarantee you. Go look at ESPN's chance of winning. I bet it's 63 for Bama.
I would be higher than Taylor. I think it's 25%. I think if you play this game 4 times, I think Auburn wins 1, Alabama wins 3.
I mean, if you look at the matchup, the way Auburn plays is exactly the way they're going to have to, the way Oklahoma had to play it last week.
The ESPN thing, which I don't know how accurate this ever is.
I had not looked at this.
I've never spent 2 seconds looking at ESPN's analytics.
Was I close?
But I want to tell you, last year when it's 4th and 31, it was 99.99999%.
I'm actually more talking about the pregame when they say this is the percent chance a team wins. Alabama at 87.7%, Auburn at 12.3.
Wow, so Forrester and Little T are
Forrester and Little T closer than you.
Better at this than I am.
Yeah, now
give me pessimistic.
But well, I've seen
37% Auburn in my win probability.
Yeah. I mean, if this game were at Jordan-Hare, I'd almost go 50-50.
I would too. If you forget, before we play Milroe, give me cut number 3. This is DeMarcus Riddick, what he said earlier this week, which, by the way, I believe was PR chess by Hugh Freeze, sending this kid out there to talk smack. Here he is.
Ryan Williams is Ryan Williams. I mean, yeah, he's electric. He's all this and that, but in my eyes, he ain't really nobody to me. Ryan Williams is himself. He ain't no big time player to me. Like I said, Bama is a big rival team. Every rival team I played, I never lost to, and I will not lose to Bama while I'm here. I mean, he is a good quarterback. He's fast, but I mean, he's not faster than me. I'm pretty just that. Like, he will not get out that box this week.
So that gets us to the Jalen Milroe response yesterday, which I did not think was a good answer by Jalen Milroe. Here's cut 4. Jalen Milroe responding to what you just heard from DeMarcus Riddick, or as Jalen Milroe likes to call him, who?
I don't even know what that is, but I mean, let him talk. I mean, it's a part of it. You know, it's all about just executing what we need to do so we can be our best us this weekend. But yeah, I mean, good on him.
Ryan Williams is a big time player. I think that's the best 17-year-old I ever seen. Ryan Williams. I'm a big fan of Ryan Williams. You know, the plays he done made, the things, his impact, just his influence. Like, Ryan Williams is probably the biggest star to me ever.
Yeah, we feel like we play our best football when all our energy is focused on our assignment, our keys, and being connected with each other. We get involved to a lot of trash talking, kind of get us off task and off focus of what we're there to do, and that's to beat the man in front of us every play and do it as a team and together. So that's the main thing we try to do, especially with rivalry. We know it's going to be a hostile environment. It's going to be hostile on the field. It's going to be chippy, but the more we can refocus and control our energy and control our rage into the right things, we can come out successful.
Yeah, if I know the voices right, that's Tim Keenan, I believe, and Malachi Moore with Jalen Milroe there. So that's a little of the response and smack talking going into the Iron Bowl. We'll do 4 downs here and then talk more about the big game coming up in Tuscaloosa. Before we do 4 downs, Brown, tell us about the great new partner we have in Golfus.
Yeah, thegolfus.com is the website to go to get all the information on what I'm about to tell you about. Let me tell you what the Golfus is. It's the best indoor simulators that you can find anywhere in Alabama for golf. And on top of that, it's a great place to have a corporate event, have a holiday party, up to 50 people in those parties. You can bring your own drink. You can bring your own food. You can bring your own golf clubs. All of that right there at the Golfus. There's a location in Vestavia on Highway 31. There will soon be one right out here on Highway 280. There's going to be one in Trussville as well. You can go to thegolfus.com to reserve a bay or to find out how to have your party there, thegolfus.com. All the famous courses you recognize right there at The Golfus, thegolfus.com.
All right, and 4 downs brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations: Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Get in and see the Vajaya brothers. We had the pizza up in studio yesterday. Absolutely loved it. Local pizza, local ingredients, from the Vajaya special to the soul pie, the hot mama, the wing and a prayer. You're going to love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Better chance of ultimately getting into the 12-team college football playoff. Tulane or Colorado?
Colorado still has a path to play for the Big 12 championship, right?
They don't control their own destiny. Is that correct? The controllers of destiny,
Iowa State,
and
Arizona
Arizona State. But if Colorado just gets an upset and they win, then they've got a game that I say locks them in.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I mean,
And
I don't know.
Another angle to play this is if Boise was to lose one of their next 2 games. Like, I don't think they lose tomorrow to Oregon State.
Are they going to Colorado State? Is that who they're going to get in their conference?
UNLV. And
UNLV? Okay.
And UNLV lost a 1-possession game to them on a Friday night a couple of months ago. And actually, Boise's playing worse than they were playing at that point, and UNLV's playing better. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if UNLV wins that game. I've got a feeling Tulane's going to get in this thing.
Helped out by the fact that you, John, I was texting with Coach Craddock, who's a Broyles Award finalist, the Tulane offensive coordinator, former Briarwood quarterback. You and but you specifically, you're a big John Sumrall fan now, and you've been sort of watching this team a little closer than you do most teams.
Well, I think you look back. I mean, now the Oklahoma loss after the Bama loss doesn't look as bad for Tulane, and going back to the Kansas State, that was a back and forth game where they lose 1-possession game. We've said it. I think if they played those 2 games, they would win. Right now, I think they're playing by far better than any other Group 5 team.
A lot of people in the MyBookie.ag chat room were saying that what they're seeing at North Carolina is Summerall's name is getting a ton of mentions.
I've got a list. One of the other ones.
Give me the list.
Yeah, this is
I'll tell you who I'd hire off the. Well, we are so unobjective on Summerall, and I think we're right. But I also know we're not objective. We like the guy too much.
Combination of a list from the Charlotte Observer and the Fayetteville, North Carolina newspaper that covers North Carolina here. John Summerall is number 2 on the list. I'll go back to number 1 on the list. Jamie Chadwell was on this list.
I don't know, man.
It doesn't do a lot for me.
Yeah. It seems like it's going downhill.
Yep, I agree. I think you missed your window on that one.
And you can get him at any point.
Yep.
Jeff Monken of Army.
I mean, he's done a nice job at Army. I don't know.
You know, the only thing with Monken is he would have to bring in some interest. He would have to get one of these Courtney Morgan general managers because he hasn't dealt with NIL transfer portal.
They don't really recruit in the same way everybody else does.
Barry Odom, UNLV.
Interesting, the guy did not work out at Missouri the last time he had a bigger job, but what he's done at UNLV has been incredible.
Yeah, and I didn't think the Missouri job was that bad. I would have Odom over Jamie Chadwell.
I think I would too.
They throw out Deion Sanders, but not going to happen.
Chance.
They throw out Cliff Kingsbury. I don't think that's going to happen.
Why would you want Cliff Kingsbury?
Yeah, just for the offense, the style. Yeah. 3 young coordinators. Will Stein, Oregon offensive coordinator. I don't really know enough about him.
I know, but obviously they got a good offense,
Glenn Schumann, defensive coordinator at Georgia, who I was very high on. He's a recruiter that's fantastic.
Yeah.
They throw out the name Pete Golding at Ole Miss.
That's what a reclamation project.
Of all of those guys, Will Stein, I think I would take John Summerall, but Will Stein would be number 2. Watching his offenses, and you just look at, a guy that had been benched in Bo Nix, and Dylan Gabriel, who's had really good years at UCF and Oklahoma. But both of those guys completed over 75% of their passes in his offense. His offense works.
One more name on the list.
Is this the number 1?
It was the one that was mentioned in both of them. The only, other than Summerall, it's the only one that carries over on both lists.
All right.
What do we always say about ESPN?
They make you look smarter. So some coaches going and sat at the desk at ESPN, Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen.
Yeah. Of all that, I'll just admit it. We're so biased on Summerall, but I think we're right in this. I would go Summerall or Will Stein.
Yeah, I would go Summerall, Will Stein, then Dan Mullen, then Barry Odom. And
I'd go Summerall or Schumann.
Yeah.
Those would be my 2. That was first down, right?
I think so, yeah. I don't even know if I answered, but all right.
Let's do second down.
Second down.
Better chance of getting in the college football playoff, Clemson or South Carolina.
Clemson.
Winner of the game has a chance.
I think Clemson's got better paths though than South Carolina. So Clemson's got 2 possible paths. I mean, Syracuse upsetting Miami is not crazy. I mean, that is a very doable win for Syracuse. The way Miami plays everybody close.
SMU. I know Cal is not playing their best football right now, but Cal is still. Mendoza gets rolling. That's a team that can win some games.
And then Clemson, with some chaos, could even go in as an at-large. So Clemson's got a far better path than South Carolina. South Carolina's got to beat Clemson and hope for chaos.
Yeah, but Yes, to some degree. I mean, Clemson's got to, if they're not in the ACC championship, they got to have the same chaos South Carolina does.
Yeah, but then South Carolina's got to jump Ole Miss and Alabama.
I think they would do that with a win over Clemson.
I don't know if they would, but I know with chaos, Clemson's next man out. So all they got to do is beat South Carolina, and with chaos, they're in.
Yeah, I think if you take out the automatic bid for the at-large bid, I think South Carolina has a better shot
than Clemson.
If they win.
Third down.
Because they become the fourth SEC team, not the second ACC. They become the fourth SEC.
Jimi Hendrix would have been 82 years old today. He has been dead a long time. Ultimately, better career, Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Butler?
Playoff Jimmy's really good, but I'm going to go Jimi Hendrix here. Great guitar player, great NASCAR team owner. I'm kidding, but great guitar player. I actually will go Jimi Hendrix over Jimmy Butler here. Jimmy Butler's been had a great career. He just has I've never considered him at any point the best at anything.
No, he's always been a top 10 guy, though, and he has won a championship. Jimi Hendrix, I think some people make an argument the greatest guitar player of all time. I passed away at 27
Yeah,
years
he's in
old.
the 27 club, so it is so hard to compare him to Jimmy Butler because we got all of Jimmy Butler's career. We only got a fraction of Jimi Hendrix's career.
Yeah, I will go Jimi Hendrix because I think in 100 years people will be talking about Jimi Hendrix. They probably aren't talking Jimmy Buckets.
I think I'll go Jimmy
Hendrix. Butler
in this
did not
one.
change
I would say
basketball.
his work stands the test of time more than Jimmy Butler's does.
Fourth down.
Another random. Bruce Lee would have been 84 years old.
Oh, I forgot.
Today.
We're coming back to Bruce Lee. Second mention in the show.
Bruce Lee or Bruce Smith?
For those that don't know, the former defensive line Hall of Famer with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
he was unblockable.
Played at Virginia Tech and then Buffalo, and
Well, I remember Miami played him twice a year and sometimes 3 times a year.
And maybe just the craziest looking specimen of a defensive lineman I've ever seen. I'm going to go Bruce Lee just because there's so many, I don't know.
Urban legends?
Yeah, probably. And, obviously another guy that died before his time, but Bruce Lee is one of these guys that people will talk about forever.
Well, I didn't have to explain to people who Bruce Lee was. I think I felt like I had to explain to people who Bruce Smith was.
So there's the answer to your question, right? But as far as pass rushers go, Bruce Smith,
top 10.
Top 10. Yeah, I wasn't going to go top 5. He's not in the Reggie White class.
Really good as a run defender. He can get in a run game.
He was a fantastic defensive player.
That's our 4 downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, get it for a slice of salad. Pick up a couple of pies on your way home. Thanksgiving Eve. The family's going to love it. Local pizza, local ingredients. Created by the late Jeff Pajaya, his brothers Jason and Chris. Continue to celebrate his legacy. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
And our friends at A+ Brownie. You're and your wife. I saw your daughter walking around Academy here. She has to be happy with the way you guys keep improving the home that she used to live in all the time.
So happy she came home from college, Jim, just to see it again here for Thanksgiving. A+ Tile Home Remodeling is who helped us do that. That is our guy, Brad Bell. When it came time to redo the master bath at the Brown house, my wife jumped on the internet, started to scour that to find the best person for the job. She talked to contractors, people that had used certain contractors. She read a ton of reviews. I'm just telling you, she did her homework. Brad Bell is the guy she picked, and I am so glad she did. 205-422-1758 is his number. 205-422-1758. The website, if you just want to take a look at some before and afters, in addition to what Scott is showing you, A+bathandkitchen.com. They specialize in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. They'll do anything, but that is where you're going to make your money back when you go to sell your home. It's where you're going to enjoy while you're at your home the most. Brad's number is 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758 or A+bathandkitchen.com. That is A+bathandkitchen.com.
Okay, I want to ask LT because he's not with us on Friday's show. We are live on Friday. Off tomorrow, back with you, normal showtime on Friday. I want to ask you, Lance, how does this Iron Bowl play out?
I think Alabama ultimately wins this game, and I think when you look at some of the mobile quarterbacks Auburn has gone against, Marcel Reed, Michael Hawkins, Taylon Green, all those guys, 75-plus rushing yards. Can Jalen Milroe, though, have the confidence we've seen him have in the past, or does it carry over? It seems like it's this with Milroe, so I expect in front of that home crowd in what I believe will be Milroe's last game ever in Bryant-Denny, unless there's some kind of miracle playoff thing. And at that point, they couldn't even have a home game. So never mind. This will be his last game. I think he plays well. The scary thing is Alabama gave up a season-high 260 rushing yards to Oklahoma. And
very scary.
And Jarquez over the last 4 games, 560 rushing yards. Auburn only completed 6 passes last year in the Iron Bowl. And it took a 4th and 31 to beat them.
That's right.
And I think there's much more balance. I think Peyton Thorne has got confidence right now. Cam Coleman is playing out of his mind. And then
Keandre Lambert-Smith is the best pickup.
Yeah, he's been great. He's been like Jamison Williams for Alabama a few years ago. Different circumstances because we're talking about a team playing for bowl eligibility. But I lean that Alabama wins this game right now 7 to 10 points.
Well, so inside the number for you.
Right now, but I could change my mind.
Okay, by the Saturday morning show, you may have changed.
So that's LT's thoughts there. Saturday morning we'll be live with you at 9 a.m. Central, live on our normal show on Friday at 9 a.m. Central. And we're here at Academy Sports. We got trash coming up in the next segment. Tell us about Academy, Brownie, and then I do want to get to a little NFL before we take our break because NFL is such a big part of our Thanksgiving day.
So Academy Sports and Outdoors is where you can find all the great Christmas stuff. You can also get that Academy Sports and Outdoors card here in the store, and when you come by and you register with approved credit, you'll get that card, and you get $15 off your initial purchase, 5% savings on your second purchase. So you can save a lot right here for the Christmas season at Academy Sports and Outdoors. While we are here, you can also come by and register for the tickets for Saturday's game. Little T sitting just to our right here. She'll help you get registered. And in the drawing, Scott also has got a QR code on the screen. If you can't make it by today, you can go to the QR code. You can that'll take you right to our website, nextroundlive.com, and you can register there online. That registration form will be open all the way up to the show Friday. So if you can't get by Academy Sports, go to nextroundlive.com, register for the tickets to Saturday's game. We'll do that drawing during this live show on Friday, so you'll know you won. But you can always win when you come here to Academy Sports and Outdoors, Highway 280, the brand new location here in Birmingham.
I think it's a big fear for a lot of men losing their hair. Our friend Dr. Beckenstein, he can help out here. And maybe you're a wife out there and you've got one of those husbands that doesn't look in a mirror ever, and you want him to have that hair, you want him to maintain what he's got. This would be a perfect Christmas gift to book the consultation from our man, Dr. B. 205-319-0316. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
A lot of us will gather around Thanksgiving tables with friends and families this weekend. Our friends, families, if you're going somewhere else. Nothing will be like the Mayfield household. I'm not even sure they'll get together. I didn't get to it yesterday, but Baker Mayfield suing his dad, Dan Mayfield, for $12.5 million. Dan's company was handling the finances of Baker Mayfield, and he cannot account for $12.5 million of about $11 million of his son's money that was transferred from accounts into his dad's business.
And his brother was heading it all up. This goes back to the old adage, and I think there is something to this: do not go into business with family.
Well, I mean, I think, when you become a pro athlete, you don't let your family handle your money.
Nope, you need a professional.
You need a professional, but now, look, the professionals have stolen too, but I just think it is a really bad idea to keep it under one roof. And, I think you see this most of the time when you see this story, it's a family member.
Yep.
It's not a professional that it is.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever made the mistake of doing it. I did it with my dad a few years ago. Love him, God rest his soul. But he completely dicked me over in a business situation. I forgave him.
Yeah.
But it is there is tricky, a lot of truth to it, man.
It's tricky. And when there's this much money on the line, there's a lot of greed that gets played in. And, I'm sure, Jim, what it was, hey, Dad, our business, we got to have $1 million to meet payroll. We'll move it over. We'll put it back next year. And you do that, and then you do that, and then you do that, then
sad,
you
man.
get $12 million in the hole at some point.
It is sad how greed, jealousy, whatever it is, can destroy a situation like that.
2/3 of the way through the NFL season, 3 games tomorrow. We talked about Bears, Lions, Giants, Cowboys, Dolphins, Packers in that order on CBS, Fox, and NBC. Ravens and Chiefs 2:00 Friday on Prime on Friday afternoon. Miami sits 2 games back of Denver on a 3-game win streak. They're still in the hunt. Tampa Bay, LA, still in the hunt. Couple of games back of the Commanders. All of our teams are basically 2 games out of the last wild card spot, but still have a chance to get there.
Yeah, let's start with Browns Dolphins tomorrow night in Lambeau. And the way y'all's offense is playing is incredible right now. The thing that does concern me is the elements, because I think there is something real, not only a team like Miami having to play in these elements, but also Tua just has not been good when it's cold.
He's 0-6 in these situations, and the stat I gave during Fuhrman, I got from Joe Shad, who covers the Miami Dolphins. A lot of people remember Joe from ESPN college football coverage. He now covers the Dolphins for the Palm Beach Post, and I saw this in their last 10, under 23 degrees, which is what they expect this week. Miami is 3-7. Tua is 0-6 in those situations when I think it's under 38 degrees for Tua. So this is a bad spot for Miami normally, Jim, or the odds are in their favor to break. I don't know which one you want to look at. I am not super confident about this.
When we come back, we'll get to trash today with LT and then some final thoughts before we get out of here on this Wednesday show from Academy Sports. More on what you can get at Academy throughout the holiday season as well. When we come back, this is the next round being brought to you today in part by our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag, Brownie.
Code next round is the code you use when you sign up at mybookie.ag, where you find Alabama an 11.5-point favorite. In the Iron Bowl coming up, Texas A&M, game a lot of people are paying attention to, -5. Texas a 5-point favorite on the road in College Station. You can play all those games at mybookie.ag. When you use code next round, you get that sign-on bonus. It is a 300% deposit bonus in the casino. You deposit in the casino, they bonus it 300%. Free money to play with right away at mybookie.ag. That is when you use code next round. Code next round at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. mybookie.ag. Code next round. Trash is next from Academy.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at ryanbrownlive.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trustville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
At Academy Sports and Outdoors, we believe the best holiday fun happens out there, on the driveway with a new basketball hoop, out back around the fire pit, or up in the deer stand. No matter your fun, we've got it. The right stuff at the right price. Academy. Have fun out there.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the fourth quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Xavier Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Back with you from Academy. Brown's going to tell you about Academy and the great customer service and the great everything you get here. After I remind you that Champy's Chicken opened today, back on Friday as well. For all you shoppers that are heading out, Sterling and the entire crew. It's been at one location in Alabaster on Highway 119 for over a decade in one location. You know, to be a restaurant that's opened without changing names and styles and owners in one location for over a decade, that's when the restaurant's iconic. And that's what Sterling has built there in Alabaster. Listen, I know it's a chain. There are other Champy's Chickens up in different areas of our viewing and listening area, but the one we always recommend you go to, Sterling's Place, right there on Highway 119. He's made the building, he's made the atmosphere, and he's made the food the very best it can be. Champy's Chicken, for all the great southern fried food you want right there. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster and Brown. These fine folks at Academy, so many people coming by and saying hi to Little T, and signing up over there.
Not me. So they're signing up a Little T over there for tickets to Saturday's game. We're going to give those away on the Friday show. You can register in person here for the next, we got 20 minutes of the show left, next 20 minutes with Little T over here. But if you don't make it out today, you just scan that QR code Scott's got up. That'll take you to our website, or you can go to nextroundlive.com, click on the Academy logo there, and register for those tickets. We will keep that registration open until the start of the show Friday, and that's when we will do our drawing during the show Friday. Always skip by Academy, though, this time of year to get great gifts, great gift ideas here at Academy for the outdoorsman in your life, the golfer in your life, the hunter in your life, basketball, baseball, football, soccer, all the great brands here at Academy. Academy Sports and Outdoors, brand new location, Highway 280.
All right, on this day in history, back 83 years ago, you brought up Joe DiMaggio in the 4 Downs earlier this week, I think. Joe DiMaggio won the American League MVP over Ted Williams. Now, what makes that iconic is in that same year, DiMaggio had the 56-game hit streak, but Ted Williams hit 406. He's the last guy to hit over 400, and we'll probably never, ever see it again. So both of those guys did those iconic things in the same year, and DiMaggio edged out Ted Williams. If you're wondering, Ted Williams led the league in home runs, and DiMaggio had 30. Williams had 37. DiMaggio had 125 RBIs. Ted Williams had 127 RBIs. Mind-blowing that in the 56-game hit streak by DiMaggio, Ted Williams' batting average was better than DiMaggio's. It was 412 for Williams, 408 for DiMaggio's during that 56-game hit streak.
Well, I agree. Neither's ever going to happen again. But if one was to happen, I think it would be somebody hitting 400. You know, the average right now is probably across the board like 235, 240. I mean,
I think it's a 56-game hit streak. It happens before.
I don't think so.
First season,
because I think the pressure that would build on that. Now, the same thing would happen if you're hitting around 400, the last week of the season, but you can manipulate a lot of that where you could sit a guy here and there. George Brett was the closest we came in 1980, which is forever ago, when he hit 390, which wasn't even close. I think it was like he needed like 8 to 10 more hits.
And keep in mind, Pete Rose was the closest challenger of the DiMaggio streak, and he only got to 44. I mean, he had to go 2 more weeks.
But you guys will give me pitching overall is so much better. Everybody talks about the dilution, but you got so many dudes that are rocking 100 with all of the different pitches they've got now. And
it was complete games back then.
It was, yeah.
So you'd face a guy 4 times, 5 times in a game, plus he would wear out. He'd tire as the game would go on.
Now you got a situational lefty that you've seen once in your career comes in.
Who's only going to face 1 batter or 1 inning.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is just so different. Neither one's ever going to happen again. Those are both crazy accomplishments. I never knew it happened in the same year.
I didn't either until I read this morning. Kendall Baker, who sends out a great newsletter at Yahoo Sports, sent that out. The difference in the voting, they believe, is the Yankees went on to win the World Series. The Red Sox, or they played the World Series at least, they won the American League pennant. The Red Sox were 17 games behind the Yankees. So
Ted
Williams hit 406, and they still finished 17 back?
Yeah.
17 back, and they feel like even though Williams' stats slightly better across the board than DiMaggio, that DiMaggio got the MVP because it was the Yankees.
When you hit 406, you would think you have protection around it.
You would think, wouldn't you?
But if you're 16 games back, it's hard to believe.
Remember, just a few teams back then, they played each other a lot. So if one team was better, you could have a big gap. All right, that moment in history, big pickup for LTs at bottomless pit of money, 5 years, $182 million for Blake Snell. The guy who took Tampa Bay to a World Series as an ace one time.
The guy that scared me to death in that 2020 World Series.
Yeah, he was the guy that took Tampa to the series, was with the Padres, has had some injuries, but he's part of the Dodgers history now. Before we get to trash, one more time, tell us about Hemp Hill.
205-229-2090. Look, the cold weather is starting to get here. You need to make sure that heating unit is ready to keep up with it. Our guys at Hemp Hill Services, they can help you out with anything when it comes to the heating, the cooling, the plumbing. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
All right, let's spin that roulette wheel. Let's hit the big button and do a little trash here. Tyler, do it, man.
Another time I was watching a TikTok about Beyonce and someone in the comments said, "When's her birthday? Google it! Google it, Google it, Google it, Google it, Google it. Google is free, Google it." What the asking us for? By the time someone responded to you, you could have been Googled it.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
And yes, we are proud to partner with our friends, the mortgage experts at Mortgage Right at 205-900-7200, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. No cost or obligation, just to see where you stand if you are in the home buying market right now. We start first. You guys know who Glenn Powell is.
The actor from Top Gun and other things, but probably most known right now from Top Gun Maverick.
Former third baseman, Montreal Expos.
Nope, it is.
Brown got it right.
Brown is right. He is an Austin kid. Big Texas fan. I don't think he's going to be the next Matt McConaughey, but he has become a borderline A-list actor. Glenn Powell called into his own lookalike contest in Austin, Texas on Sunday to give the winner a very special prize, a cameo in his next film.
Oh, really?
Oh. But not for the winner himself, since Powell's parents frequently show up in his films, like Twister, Top Gun Maverick. The actor offered the opportunity to lookalike's parents or any family member of their choice. Now, Powell wasn't on hand on the Austin contest since he's currently filming the Running Man remake in the UK, but his mother and aunt helped judge the competition, according to Fox 7 Austin, which ended up crowning physician assistant Maxwell Braunstein as the best lookalike. Braunstein received $5, cowboy hat, and free queso from Torchy's Tacos for a year, and a special message from Powell himself, who was on FaceTime with his mom during the event.
I am going to say that Braunstein probably gets all the dates he wants in Austin if he looks that much like Glenn Powell, would you say?
Probably so.
I bet he does okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's a solid-looking dude. Now, Powell joked in the FaceTime, quote, "Welcome to the Justin Hartley Lookalike Contest," while still in his Running Man makeup. In all seriousness, I have assembled you here today for an important mission. I want you to pull off a heist. This is about to get really cheesy, by the way.
Yeah, I bet.
And we don't need masks because we all have the same face. It's the perfect crime. They can get us all because we are one. A criminal Glenner Prize.
Oh, jeez. Worse than I even thought.
Goes on to say, you may know that my parents make a cameo in every movie I make, but today the winner of the Glenn Powell Lookalike Contest wins their parents or any family member of their choice cameo in my next movie. I am completely serious. This is a cash value prize of $6 billion. Wasn't serious about that. Beyond Running Man, which is currently in production, he is set to star in Huntington, black comedy with Margaret Qualley and Ed Harris.
I mean, I guess this is cool. At least he's, he's somehow embracing the fans, interacting with the fans.
I don't
right?
know the frenzy and all of the people now doing these lookalike contests because this is like the third one we've had.
Seems like we got a lot of stories on this.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want a bunch of people gathered together that look the same, like me.
Can we do a Dunaway lookalike contest?
That's right. Michael Keaton, where is he?
It would be easy. It'd be easy for me. I look like a lot of Alabamians, I think. It'd be cool, though. It'd be cool if we gathered, if we had, like, lookalikes for the whole show. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had three people that looked like the three of us.
Yeah,
right?
I think the difference is, like, I don't think anybody's going to be like, man, dude, you look like Ryan Brown. I think for Glenn Powell lookalikes, because he is now a pretty big star in Hollywood, there are people that are like, and especially in the Austin area, man, you look a little like Glenn Powell.
I can't remember his name, but there is apparently someone that lives north of town that I believe is in medical cells that apparently he and I look alike because I've been confused for him several times. And I wish I could remember the guy's name. I'd kind of like to meet him.
Yeah, I had one of those guys in town, and then there was another one, but those come up, I guess, every now and then. But I think it would be like if we did that, one person with a shaved head might come out and be like, I'm Dunaway.
Now, I could be off on the medical cells part, but I think that's what this cat does for a living. And there have been several people that are like, Michael? I can't remember his name. And I'm like, no, I'm Ryan. God, you look just like, I thought you were Michael so-and-so.
Yeah.
Wish I could remember the guy's name.
Happens to me all the time. Batman?
Batman.
Coral Springs police arrested a man following an alleged road rage incident in which the person was hospitalized after being struck in the face with a Yeti thermos. That would hurt.
Ooh, that's going to leave a mark.
How about this? According to police reports, victims attempted to pass a pickup truck after its exhaust emitted thick black smoke into the vehicle. The driver, later identified as Ithalo Gonzalez, 31 years old, reportedly accelerated to block them, then lowered his window and shouted threats, including, "Do you want to die?"
I do not.
That was before he threw the thermos into the victim's vehicle. Medical records showed the thermos struck the passenger in the face, causing a laceration that later required medical attention. Upon arrival, EMS treated the injured passenger at the scene. He later sought follow carry-up at the health center where he received x-rays. Gonzalez, on November 20th, was taken into custody and arrested on charges of firing a missile or projectile into an occupied dwelling.
I tell you, man, at speed, a Yeti thermos hitting you right in the forehead.
It could kill you.
Yeah, that's going to get you, man. That's a tough one.
California police arrested 7 individuals on Friday after discovering they had a U-Haul truck filled with stolen Nike and Air Jordan sneakers. Now, news of the burglary, first reported by CBS News, as confirmed in a tweet by the California Highway Patrol. The alleged thieves had over $200,000 worth of stolen Nikes and Jordans in the truck. According to the CBS News, bandits intercepted the sneakers from a train container in the Mojave Desert in Amboy, California. Reportedly drove them nearly 190 miles to Anaheim. The Cargo CHP division was able to track down the U-Haul around 11:25 a.m. on November 22nd, where it discovered the sneakers along with tools allegedly used to break into the train containers.
That's a lot of
That's
sneakers.
a lot, man.
$200,000 worth.
Yeah, I saw where Sammy Hagar, forgot who his tequila partner is.
Right.
Tyler might know this off the
Tyler,
fly.
do you know Tyler?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Sammy Hagar's tequila partner?
Oh, gosh. He's got that, I think it's Cabo Wabo tequila or something. Everything of his is Cabo something.
Yeah, but I don't know who his
Sammy Hagar's got a partner. Anyway,
his name is Don Julio.
It's not that. Their tequila truck went missing, and I talked to a guy in the liquor industry, and he said the problem is it was so many aged bottles, like they can't replace that.
Yeah.
Oh, his partner was Guy Fieri.
Yeah, Guy Fieri.
How about that?
There
How
you
about
go. Finally, the most delicious Thanksgiving side dishes by Ranker.com. Number 10, I think it's kind of underrated, but I'm one of those, I like potatoes done anyway, the scallop potato.
I don't hate a scallop potato.
I don't love them.
I like it more like with a steak than at.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Scalloped potatoes probably last on my potato list.
Really?
But
The worst way to do potatoes.
There's a joint we used to go to a lot that does the scalloped. You put a little half and half in there with some chopped up jalapenos. Really
good.
I like them mashed. I like them baked. I like the sweet potato. I like them fried.
Barbecue
like
shrimp.
them twice baked.
Shrimp scampi.
Scallop's gonna be last for me.
I had to make a run to the grocery store yesterday, and I forgot one of the main things I went for, and it was the Ocean Spray canned cranberry sauce. Like, I think it is so much better than homemade cranberry sauce.
I'll tell you what, and I probably am the minority here. If you leave cranberry sauce off the Thanksgiving meal, it does not affect me one bit.
I needed just a little turkey dressing mix there, but I oftentimes go back with the dressing without it.
Don't
the
you like the
dressing's good
can too, though?
Oh yeah, I cannot. In fact, I just like the can. I prefer the can.
What I like, even like I've done, the regular Thanksgiving lunch. We've done like the high-end Thanksgiving dinner with the candles. I would rather have the dumped out Ocean Spray just laying there looking like the can.
Then when if somebody makes it, it just doesn't taste as good.
Yeah.
It tastes different.
Yeah, number 8 is the one I don't like. I can eat everything on this list except for number 8, and that is the green bean casserole.
Yeah, there's so many better ways to do green beans than in a casserole. That's the point. Like, I'll tell you, one of my mom's...
What makes it a casserole? French onion soup or something?
I think so, and then the onions on top or whatever. One of my mom's recipes is she'll take green beans and she'll bake and wrap like 3 or 4 green beans together, and then she puts something on there and bakes it. That is fantastic.
Yeah, probably a hollandaise.
Yeah.
When it comes out?
Yeah,
it's very good. You drizzle a little hollandaise on it?
No, you don't have to drizzle anything. Whatever she puts on there when she cooks it is perfect.
Yeah. Just straight green beans for me.
Yeah.
Number 7 on the list, buttermilk biscuits.
Maggie made some yesterday.
I would rather do the roll for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't do biscuits at Thanksgiving. Maggie made some for Thanksgiving, or
that was actually rolls. I'm still wrong. It's not buttermilk biscuits. It was rolls. She made homemade rolls yesterday.
Now, I tell you what,
you talk about good when you the house that smelled like that. You start pulling out hot rolls, slapping some butter on that and eating it straight up.
It may be the Calhoun County coming out in me here, but I almost prefer like the cheap rolls better than like your high end rolls.
That is actually
basically the brown and serve.
That's why she was making that style of roll to take up to Mentone, because they go with a thicker biscuit like roll up there, and she wanted some for the redneck part of the family.
Number 6 on the list, and this is the most delicious Thanksgiving side dishes by Ranker.com. Just bread.
Yeah, I'm not in a Peanuts cartoon. I don't need toast.
Number 5, mac and cheese.
Yeah,
I've seen that mac and cheese has become polarizing when it comes to Thanksgiving. I don't understand why. I think mac and cheese is good with every and anything. But I think it needs to be on the table when it comes to Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I love mac and cheese. I'll take mac and cheese anytime. I think it is a great Thanksgiving side.
Yeah. My palate has changed to where I like it more.
Yeah, you used to not like it. Yeah.
And it's weird that is such a go-to for kids that you would think that you would like it as a youngster.
Yeah.
Number 4
I think
on the list.
Had bad mac and cheese early.
That's a possibility.
Number 4 on the list is the crescent roll, which I really, really like.
I do not.
Yeah, I'll pass on the crescent roll again. Probably more basic the better for me when it comes to rolls at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. If Billy May's not making it, I don't want it.
I like the crescent roll with a little chicken salad in it outside of Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3, this is weird, but I typically get my mashed potatoes without gravy.
Yep. Well, when it comes to Thanksgiving, you got your giblet gravy to go in the dressing and the turkey if you would like, and then you've got your darker gravy for the mashed potatoes. At least that's the way it should be, in my opinion.
I am like ULT. In fact, Jim from New York Butcher said, I got your dressing set aside. Do you want some gravy with that? I said you had some gravy too, and I said, nope, no gravy for me. I'll take it. I'll take it as it lies.
I would have taken it and poured it on Bullet and Chili's food, which, by the way, they get their first order of Farmer's Dog tonight.
What a
we're
good moment. What a moment.
Going from kibble to Farmer's Dog. They're very excited about it.
Where were you when that happened?
You guys will remember Academy. Number 2 on the list, stuffing, which I think that's the only time I would ever eat stuffing, but I love it.
Well,
I hate stuffing. I like dressing.
That's right. It's dressing here in the South.
Either or.
It's very different.
And then number 1, this is interesting. The most delicious Thanksgiving side, according to Ranker.com, is the mashed potato.
I far prefer sweet potato casserole, and that is divisive on this show because Scott hates it. I love sweet potato casserole.
I love it. Yeah,
Yep.
but I think it's more of a dessert, though.
Yep. Oh, I'm fine with that.
That's all I got. Trash always brought to you by the mortgage experts, Mortgage Right. Whether you're buying your first home or your final home, whether you need 100% financing or have big down payment, they can tell you exactly what your situation is. No cost or obligation. 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
I got a 60-second thought here at the end, but Brownie, tell us one more time about the great folks here at Academy.
Academy Sports and Outdoors, the brand new Highway 280 location, right there in the Target Shopping Center, the old Best Buy, right up behind Chick-fil-A. You come by here. Well, it's probably too late to come by and register for tickets. Honestly, if you're here in the store, you can do it. But don't worry, you can still go to nextroundlive.com, and Academy will give away tickets to Saturday's game. Register right there at nextroundlive.com or scan the QR code Scott has on the screen for the rest of this show or on demand.
I will tell you this. I am okay if we allow the committee to manipulate the standings, the rankings, to avoid, when able, first-round rematches. Are you guys okay with that? Last night, Tennessee and Georgia, Indiana and Penn State are paired up. I am okay with them manipulating the standings to get them not paired up in the first round.
No, Indiana, Penn State, we hadn't seen.
Okay, well, I'm okay with them manipulating them.
No. I'm saying now you would say.
Yeah, I would be okay with them manipulating to where it wouldn't be two Big Ten teams, two SEC, if you can.
I don't know if I'll go that far.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care anything about seeing Tennessee, Georgia, just because we just saw it. But I would kind of love to see Indiana, Penn State.
Yeah, rematch.
Indiana would beat that team.
Yeah. See, I'm okay. So you're not eliminating conferences to try to manipulate it around a little bit. Yeah. But right now, the way it lies, you get that rematch Tennessee, Georgia, and you get two Big Ten teams, Indiana, Penn State. And just one food for thought, if Alabama snuck in at 12, I don't think there's a path. But if they got in at 12, most likely matchup Alabama at Notre Dame, a win there, then you get Boise State.
Yeah, you get the 4 seed.
Yeah, that becomes a very beneficial path.
Not a bad road.
Thank you, Academy.
Tough game, by the way, if Bama went to South Bend.
Oh, yeah, because they run the football. And they can't stop the run. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Forrester, everybody back there in the studio. Thank you to Academy. Until Friday morning, God bless you and God bless America.